South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Year in, year out, we're fixing tires faster than a Formula One pit crew. My team is on top of things like tire whisperers. If an unforeseen accident were to happen in my workshop, at least I've got My Way business insurance to keep the wheels turning.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
Relebogile is on X at Relebogile M.
Thank you so much for joining us on 7:02 afternoons. We are back tomorrow and we get to do it all again. Enjoy the rest of your spring day. It's the final quarter of the year and we all get a chance to do it well. It's 3 o'clock.
This is EWN.
The NPA welcomes the sentence handed down to Amantle Samane's killer, and Gauteng Education commits to fixing dilapidated Nigel School. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. The National Prosecuting Authority has welcomed the life sentence handed down to Pete Simiao for the rape and murder of a 6-year-old Soweto child. Simiao was handed 2 life sentences in the Johannesburg High Court today for the rape and murder of Amantle Samane. The child's lifeless body was found in Simiao's shack in Orlando East in Soweto last year. He later confessed to the crimes, pleading guilty in court. Today, Judge William Karam ruled that Simiao failed to demonstrate true and genuine remorse. NPA spokesperson Pindim Jonondwane says the court considered all material facts when arriving at an appropriate sentence.
It is one that has considered the seriousness of the case as well as how it has affected the family of the deceased. It has considered the seriousness of the crime and the criminal himself. More importantly, during its remarks, the court mentioned that the accused was feeling sorry for himself rather than a sign of remorse by pleading guilty.
Gauteng Education MEC Matume Chelwane has committed to rebuilding the Alra Park Primary School within 18 months. It comes after community protests over aging school infrastructure last week in Nigel. The school has been operating for 85 years and the classrooms are now dilapidated. In 2023, the Education Department brought in mobile classrooms, but there were calls for a more permanent solution. Today, Chelwane met with the school's Infrastructure Crisis Committee and promised to demolish and give the learners a new school.
So these ones have dilapidated very quickly and they've become very dangerous for our children. So the agents of the school have committed a timeline for them that within the next 18 months they should be having their kids in a new school. Because fortunately the school already itself was also part of the roster of new schools. We just had to reorganize the roster to make sure that it gets priority because of the agency.
Let's stay with schooling-related matters. Frustrated residents in Coronationville say the ongoing water outage has forced their children to miss school yet again. They say the area has experienced an unreliable water supply for years now, but the recent outage has left them without a drop of water in their taps for 4 weeks now. Ndogozo Khumalo is there.
Children from the area have joined the protest, holding up posters calling for an end to the ongoing water outage. Residents say their children are being sent home from school because there's no water supply. They say their children's future is being affected by this outage. Angry resident Chantal Degama.
Basic human rights are taken away. It's been taken away. Our children don't even go to school because there's no running water. So at the schools, they use JoJo tanks. So if there's no water trucks, because remember now, the water trucks that's being sent to our area does not have clean water.
Community members have also shared that the city of Joburg promised that this issue would be resolved in 10 hours, but they still do not have any water. Ndogozo Khumalo, Eyewitness News, Coronationville.
We shift our focus to this now. Joburg Mayor Dada Morero has assured residents that there is no chance of another underground gas explosion on Lillian Ngoyi Street in the inner city. The metro has completed repairs to the road, which was torn apart by a gas explosion more than 2 years ago. The restoration project included replacing worn-out underground pipes and resurfacing the road. Addressing journalists earlier today, Morero expressed confidence that such an incident will not happen again.
And I think our engineers, technicians and everybody are convinced that we'll probably not have an explosion. They've ensured whatever pipes and infrastructure underneath. They've also restored the tunnels that are there underneath. So everything we think underneath is proper now, and hopefully we'll not experience an explosion into the future.
And more than 250 media houses in over 70 countries are protesting to highlight the deaths of scores of journalists in Gaza. The journalists have vowed to disrupt front pages, home pages and broadcasts to demand an end to Israel's war against Hamas. The protest comes a week after 5 journalists working for Al Jazeera, the Associated Press and Reuters were killed in Israeli airstrikes. They say at this rate there will soon be no one left to keep the world informed about what is happening in the region. The death toll of media professionals has climbed to over 210 since October 2023. Gold is trading at $3,469.52 an ounce. The rand is at 17.58 to the dollar, 23.79 to the pound, 20.60 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $67.48 a barrel.
Well, if you're in the Lenasia area, there's some delays around the area. This is on the Klipspruit Valley Road. There's an accident scene causing heavy delays as you approach Nirvana Drive, so please avoid that route if you can. That's approaching Trade Route more. There's also slow moving traffic. That's if you're heading into and out of the Joburg CBD. This is on Main Reef Road, approaching the M2. And finally, in Edenvale, heading towards Bedford View, bumper to bumper traffic on the the R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Gilulis interchange.
In your sport, deadline day DLC, Liverpool secure Alexander Isak signing as Victor Lindelof joins Aston Villa. Erik ten Hag fired by Bayer Leverkusen after just 2 Bundesliga games. And the Springbok women make history and are set for their maiden World Cup quarterfinal appearance.
It's a fine afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 32 and 33 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. The NPA has welcomed the life sentence handed down to Pete Simiao for the rape and murder of 6-year-old Amantle Samane.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Yeah, it's definitely warmer and it definitely has a different feel about it, doesn't it? A very good afternoon to you. It is 9 minutes past 3 on Thursday, the 28th of August. And yeah, today is the first day of spring. What's it doing for your mood? Are you feeling the joys of a warmer season already? It does not solve all the other things we have to deal with, but there is something about the start of spring. Maybe you've got some thoughts on that. A different spring in your step, if you'll excuse it. You feel maybe like a bit of a springbok yourself. Give us a call on that on 011 883 0702. Welcome to the show, as I said, and hope you had a great weekend. Coming up, are we seeing a small but significant escalation in senior police and military officials defying the politicians to whom they report. In the space of less than 3 weeks, both the head of the SANDF and the head of the police have done things that have prompted rebukes from senior ministers and, in one case, the president himself. If this defiance is happening, what are the implications for our politics? Like I said, it's small as yet, but I wonder if it's significant. More on that after 4 o'clock. Some other stories we're covering. Lillian and Ngoyi Street, for so long in ruins, we are told now. Phase 1 of fixing it up has actually happened. We'll talk about that shortly with the Johannesburg Roads Agency. But if you live in the area, work in the area, do business in the area, or simply travel through the area on your way to other parts of Johannesburg, give me a call and tell me what you see and what you think about what you see. 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. Speaking of Springboks, the women's rugby team has moved into brand new, never before territory at the World Cup in England.
There it is. The clock is through the 80. And she's found touch. And that is the final whistle. And look at the celebrations for South Africa. They've beaten Italy for the first time in their history.
Yeah, first time in their history, and what that means is that the Springbok women are through to the World Cup knockout stages for the first time ever. I think also it's the first time ever, by the way, they've won 2 games at a World Cup. One more group game still to come against France, and based on the final round of matches, not just in their group, but all the others as well, we will have a date and venue for a World Cup quarterfinal. It's a fabulous achievement. We're going to be chatting to one of the players. The camp still working out exactly who they're going to give us to chat to, but I'm looking forward to that very, very much indeed. That's coming up after 5 o'clock. The other thing that, of course, is meant to happen on the 1st of September is swimming pools. Public swimming pools are meant to open all around the country. We've already had notification from the Tshwane Metro that they will not be opening pools as yet because they don't have chlorine for the water. Not sure how that happens, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But if you would like to already get that conversation going, swimming pools in your area that will open in time for today's deadline, or pools that won't. If there's good news, I want to hear it. If there are problems, let's address those as soon as we possibly can and get to the bottom of what might be a solution. Give us a call on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. We've got all those stories and a whole lot more on 702 Drive, including breaking news, news from the roads in our regular traffic updates, and we'll bring you the latest from the markets, where the all-share is off to a strong start this week. Up 440 points, driven by a resources sector, which is itself up by 4.1%. Among platinum stocks, Sibanye is better by 11.2%. That's pretty good going. Northam by 10%, Implats by 8.6%. Pan-African Resources leading the gold miners, up by 6.5%. Rand currently trading at 17.59 against the dollar. That's good news too. 20.59 against the euro. A pound will cost you 23 Rand and 79 cents. The price of Brent crude up by 78 cents, currently trading at $68.26 a barrel. All the news around that, explanations, plus the data with Stephen Curtis at 4:25. Sport ahead with Tolakele Mganga, massive signing for Liverpool Football Club, as she mentioned. News as well, and a wrap of what happened in the Betway Premier League this weekend. Mbali Dlamini has the latest news headlines. Karabo Chale with us, keeping an eye on the road. So this is 702 Drive. We're live in the place where you live. And if it's happening in 702 land, we'll bring you everything we know as quickly as we can. But there's always stuff that you perhaps have either particular insights into or stories that we don't yet know about. Please, please be part of our team of 702 family reporters and get in touch on 072 702 1702 011 883 0702. It's 14 minutes past 3.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
One of the things that actually is part of the of September, and as we reflect on what there is to talk about, inquire about, and think about, various random thoughts pop into our heads. So, prompted by the fact that this is Tourism Month, we were just sort of chatting about what our favorite tourist attractions are. And then we got into a little bit of definitional debate as well. Is Cape Town a tourist attraction? No, it's not. Is Durban? Not because it's not a great place to visit. Is Durban a tourist attraction? No, it's not. It's a tourist destination. So we, with that long preamble, are asking you to be a little bit more specific. So don't say Cape Town, Durban, or any other city or town, but rather tell us something specific about that place. So, favorite tourist attractions, Karabo Chale, go. Good afternoon to you.
Wow. Okay, there's a few I could go on. But first of all, Cape Town is a destination that I love going to. I would love to go to the, what is this, Table Mountain.
Okay.
Have you been, through the Table Mountain, just exploring early in the morning, outdoors? You like camping? I like camping. Kruger Nationals is also one of my favorite.
Okay.
So yeah, like it just varies. South Africa is beautiful.
It absolutely is.
So I would go for Cape Town. I'm afraid because Clifton Beach, I have the best of both worlds. I've got the mountain and I've got the ocean.
Okay, so Clifton. So you're not saying the whole of Cape Town, because we can't have the whole of Cape Town compete against like Ushaka Marine World. Do you see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So you're going for Clifton?
I'm going
or Kruger or both.
Okay, no. I'm gonna go for the outdoors.
Okay.
The outdoors, the Clifton, the beach, the mountains.
There we go.
So the whole of South Africa is actually a beautiful destination.
Okay, so I asked you to go narrow and you went very wide. Difficult though.
I can't help it.
And I understand exactly what you're saying. It is so hard to pick. So I'm going to be very specific. I'm going to pick one out of many. You've taken the Kruger Park, so I can't have that anymore. The Constitutional Court, right here in Johannesburg. If you've never visited it, it is the most astonishing place. There is incredible artwork. It's a beautiful building. The court itself is something to see. By the way, I'm giving you a tourist destination that you can go in if you live in Joburg or even in Tshwane or Ekurhuleni or Mogale City, Mfuleni. You can actually make a morning of it. The other extraordinary thing is that it has been built on the site of an old prison.
Yes.
And the building actually incorporates parts of that prison. It is a remarkable tourist attraction. I couldn't recommend it more highly. How about you? Where are we going with you, Rafue?
This is a tricky one. Good afternoon, John, and to the rest of the 702 family. Okay, so I love water and the outdoors.
Okay.
And I don't want to be predictable, but I'm going to speak my truth. I love Cape Town, and it would be Table Mountain because you get to hike, there's also water around there. And for me, water and hiking, those are my two best friends.
Yeah. Apparently, Christine's just telling me, I said today was the 28th of August. I have no idea why I did that.
It could be in your spirit.
No, but she's very funny about it. Christina says, John, Back to the Future. Oh, dear. I'm off to a great start. I think it was, I'm just checking on my script now. It would have been one of the first things I said. 8 minutes past 3 on 30. Yep, there it is in my script. Yeah, I use certain templates of script. So that's how the 28th of August snuck in. It's the 1st of December. I knew that. Christina, I was just trying to check
you
out.
just say it's the 1st of December, John?
Again.
Was that
1st of
deliberate?
September. First, I was checking to see if Christina was listening properly.
That's
then I was checking with you. Okay. Everyone is listening properly. We are on board. We're going out. Okay, in all seriousness, here we go. 1st of September. Can you play that applause button thing? Today's date is the 1st of September.
Happy Spring Day.
I want my round of applause. There we go.
Well done.
This is a tricky job. And I'm getting it. I'm getting the hang of it. Okay, so please do get in touch. 011 883 0702 072 702 1702. Do tell us, favorite tourist attraction in South Africa. I've got a definition of an attraction. Don't be bound by it. Just tell us what you think. 072 702 1702 011 883 0702. Let's find out what's happening on the roads. Karabo Chale.
John, well, at this stage, if you are heading towards the Bedford View area coming from Edenvale, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Gilulis interchange. Also traveling towards Germiston, expecting delays towards the Bedford View area. There's slow-moving traffic N3 northbound between the Ilans interchange and Gilulis. Also, if you're in and out of the Joburg CBD, slow-moving traffic. This is on Main Reef Road between Anderson and Production. There's also that accident scene in the Lenasia area. This is on Klipspruit Valley near Nirvana Drive, causing heavy delays approaching the R558. So expect heavy delays around that area or allow for extra traveling time. Also, there's slow-moving traffic. This is if you are in the Sharon Lee area heading towards Randburg on Malibongo Drive, heading towards Witkoppen Drive. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays
12 to 1.
Joburg Mayor, what an absolute joke. We set ourselves the goal of the 1st of September to reopen the road, but we're only going to open on the 12th of September because there's still work to be done. And we think we achieved the target we set for ourselves. We think, what a bunch of clowns.
These guys are straight out lying to us. Don't forget, there's a local government election coming next year, and that's why we're seeing this happening.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
At the heart of global conversations shaping the future, Africa's voice matters more than ever. As Africa's largest bank by assets and lead sponsor of the B20 Summit, Standard Bank Group is proud to spotlight the continent's growth, partnerships and potential on the world stage. Through informed dialogue and powerful partnerships, Standard Bank is driving sustainable growth where it matters most. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Do you know what's hiding behind colorful packaging of unhealthy food? Big food companies target children with unhealthy packaged foods that hide high levels of sugar, salt, and fat, which could lead to heart disease, diabetes, and hypertension. But the truth is hidden from consumers. Front of package warning labels are a proven solution to help consumers make informed decisions. The government must act now. We have the right to know what's in our food. Demand front of package warning labels. Sign the petition on heala.org, HEALA.org, by 30 September.
Ever driven 6 hours to get to a place that should have taken 1? Skip the detour with SemAir, a proudly South African full-service airline, connecting you to 16 top destinations, whether it be for business or a break. Baggage included. Onboard snacks. Always. Comfort and service. Count on it. Because when your time matters, your airline should too. Book now at semair.co.za. SemAir. More from your airline.
Looking for real ways to live greener? Then don't miss Green Tip of the Week, your weekly dose of sustainable inspiration. From eco-entrepreneurs to climate champions, we sit down with the people making real change. Catch Green Tip of the Week every Tuesday on Afternoon Drive with me, John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m. Only on 702. Proudly brought to you by Volvo. It's safe to be brave with Volvo.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Right, let's get into the story. Now, you may recall a while back, we hosted News 24 investigative reporter Sikonati Manchancha, who had done an investigation that had real consequences. He found that the government pensions agency, the GPAA, had been spending huge amounts of money, and I'm talking very, very large amounts of money indeed. First of all, for rental of office space from people who didn't even own that office space, and then spending big chunks of money as well to actually upgrade these offices to which they had no legal right of access. Yep. You couldn't make it up, but you wouldn't have to because it actually happened. Treasury has stepped in to try and bring this under control. They've taken over administration of the GPAA. But in a recent development or an update on that story, Sikonati has reported now that one of the companies called Shula Developers, which has only one director and no track record of doing any of this kind of work, and were paid 36 million to do so up front, nice, have actually paid back the 36 million rand. The problem is they never paid the interest on that, which amounts to 4 million rand. So a quite extraordinary story, but another example of how the power of daylight as the best disinfectant, as the saying or perhaps the cliche goes. In other words, the media exposing this stuff, the massive difference that this actually makes. Let's talk about it then with the author of the story, Sikonati. A very good afternoon to you. You must get some satisfaction out of the fact that you've just saved the public purse 36 million rand. Well done to you for doing that. And yet there continues to be this kind of defiance. No indication yet as to why the interest wasn't paid back. But secondly, no indication as well as to whether anyone will bear any consequences.
John, thank you. That's a nice way of putting it. The reality is that we are far from getting any comfort since the allegations, or rather the reports of these irregularities perpetrated by the agency's own senior management do continue. What you have cited are only but some of the stories that News 24 is and has been working on. There appears to be a whole lot more. So there is no reason that has been offered why Shula has not paid the interest on the cash that it irregularly received last year. And I certainly did give Shula a fair opportunity to answer the question. First, they wouldn't even acknowledge that they have paid back the money. If you do remember, when we published the first story in the first place, they threatened us and said we were publishing falsehoods, but they quietly paid back the money. The GPA itself has not answered or confirmed the question, but I have seen the confirmation of the payment myself.
So, Sikonati, one of the things I want to go back on, because that is a lot of money, but there was even more money that had the potential to flow out. Back in October, the GPAA agreed to lease the Brooklyn Bridge office park. I'm obviously quoting for your story, for a period of 9 years and 11 months for its headquarters. Is that completely off the table? In other words, has an effective and actual stop been put on that money flowing out of the public coffers as well?
John, as far as we are aware, that tender has not been cancelled to lease the building, but it also had been accompanied by the refurbishment or the partitioning inside the office, for which Shula was paid the 36 million rands, which it snuck back to the agency when they thought we were not watching. So we are not aware of the contract being cancelled, but as we have said in the first place and will continue to say, as I do now, that the contract to lease was fake in the first place. There never was going to be any lease because Attack Limited, the owner of the building, has told us it's got no dealings with anyone about that building, and that building has got its own tenants who are not moving and the building is not available. So there is no lease for all intents and purposes, but there was just money that was being paid out to people purporting to lease the building.
And just to get your thoughts on this, is there more that's going to come out of your investigations into this government agency?
John, yes, there certainly is more. You may have missed the story we published yesterday about another 500 million rands contract that was again irregularly entered into by the GPAA. On that, they already have paid 43 million rands to a company that has not done any work to earn the money, just like Shula had. In total, so far, what you have seen, what has been published, 1.7 billion rands of the GPAA's money has been committed to these fictitious contracts and irregular contracts. There certainly is a lot more coming because I'm still in the office as I'm talking to you.
And just finally, Sikunati. Sometimes it's easy to just get the impression that much as, first of all, exposés lead to action, action sometimes leads to the recovery of money. I don't get a strong sense most days that the consequences for the people who commit this kind of abuse of public money and public resources and indeed public opportunity, there doesn't seem to be anything that is a sufficiently strong deterrent for anyone else to say, well, okay, there's a bit of risk, but I'm going to do it anyway.
John, there has not been for the last 15 years in South Africa any serious prosecutions by law enforcement agencies, starting with investigation by the police. So it is indeed fair for the corrupt and such people to believe they can get away with it, because for so much and for so long they have been getting away with it. Day in and day out, all journalists in this country publish some kind of allegations and backed with evidence, of course, of corruption and other crime perpetrated by public officials.
Yes.
And the victims of those of that crime are the ordinary tax-paying people of the Republic of South Africa, such as is the case now with this Pension Funds Administration Agency. The direct victims are the pension holders, current and past, who worked for the government. And of course, you and I as taxpayers are in line to pay every cent that the government employees pension fund is unable to pay in the defined benefit fund.
Thank you so much, and well done again on the investigation and some really concrete and positive outcomes. But it seems to me, on the last point that we just engaged with Sikunati Mantshantsha, the outcome, the consequence, we get constant consequence management, we're told, which I've said more than once. I think you will have heard me say this appears to be mainly the management of consequences to ensure that, in fact, consequences are never as dire as they should be. I don't know. That's just my take. What's yours? 072 7021 702 and 011 883 0702, 29 minutes to 4. Let's get the very latest eyewitness news and look at a lawsuit that is taking shape from families who lost loved ones in the 2022 Boksburg explosion. Here's the very latest.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. Lawyers representing the survivors and families who lost loved ones in the 2022 Boksburg explosion say their fight for justice in a fresh lawsuit could be frustrated by a drawn-out process. A 65 million rand lawsuit was recently filed in an attempt to hold to account entities the family believes are to blame for the deadly explosion. 41 people were killed and many more were injured on the day. Earlier this year, former Gauteng Judge President Dunstan Mlambo issued a directive for all civil matters to first undergo mediation before being assigned a trial date. Tabiso Koba has more.
LHL Attorneys is a boutique law firm specializing in civil litigation. Shortly after the explosion, their attorneys hit the ground running, gathering evidence from witnesses, survivors, and the families of the deceased. Almost 3 years later, they've put together a civil action lawsuit featuring 67 plaintiffs that include people who suffered life-altering injuries and lost breadwinners from the explosion. With the new court directive ordering mandatory mediation, Associate Attorney Gabriel Berkowitz says this is going to be a long fight.
What we'll really have to do is make sure that our clients are comfortable with a settlement offer. That's the primary concern. If we get a settlement offer, it's too early to say whether or not, we'll accept a certain figure.
The city of Ekurhuleni says it's aware of the lawsuits and has reserved its right to defend itself. Tabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
Civil group Operation Watershed says the national dialogue should also include the more than 1 million South Africans living abroad. Over the next 9 months, a series of dialogues are set to be held across the country in a bid to find solutions to the pressing socio-economic challenges. But Operation Watershed is concerned that citizens living abroad have been left out of the process. Spokesperson Haley Reichert says many South Africans living abroad still have ambitions of moving back to the country and contributing to the economy.
This is an opportunity, whether we like how it's come about or not, whether we like who has been roped in to help get this thing going or not, is Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we can either sit back, point our fingers, moan and complain, and then at the end of the day, when it is a waste of taxpayers' money, go, told you so. Or we can get on board, make some noise.
Sandparks has welcomed the reopening of hiking trails in the Silvermine Nature Reserve. The area suffered severe damage following a blaze in April. Parts of Tokai and Silvermine Gate 2 have been open to the public since July. Sandparks spokesperson Charles Pahlane says the road at the Silvermine Boom Gate will remain closed to cyclists as rehabilitation efforts are still ongoing.
Upper Tokai will also reopen on the 1st of September, including levels 4 and 5. Which were previously closed in July due to the unstable terrain during the rainy season.
And thousands of mourners have attended a funeral for 12 senior Houthi figures, including their prime minister, who was killed by an Israeli strike. Gunmen patrolled the area as thousands of mourners flooded in this morning. Last Thursday's attack struck a large number of people who had gathered to watch a televised speech recorded by top Houthi leader Abdul Malik al-Houthi. According to reports, Houthi authorities have arrested dozens of people in Sana'a and other areas on suspicion of collaborating with Israel. It's a fine afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 32 and 33 degrees.
Well, at this stage, if you're in the Edenville area heading towards Bedfordview, slow-moving traffic. This is on the R24 westbound between Edenville Road and the Kilulis interchange, while in the south of Joburg, Lenasia, accident scene causing heavy delays approaching the intersection of Klipspruit Valley and Nirvana Drive. There's also slow-moving traffic due to ongoing roadworks. This is in the Devland area heading towards El Dorado Park on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue.
The top story in EWN, lawyers representing the survivors and families who lost loved ones in the 2022 Boksburg explosion say their fight for justice in a fresh lawsuit could be frustrated by a drawn-out process.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
Willem Elson, Senior Training Coordinator at the Institute for Security Studies. What is Interpol? What is it supposed to do?
Interpol started off with about 1996 countries that formed this union. Interpol became actually the liaison office between the different countries that need to interact. More than that, it also came up with various sets of tools that can be used by your different countries. For instance, if there is a wanted person or a warrant of arrest issued for a wanted person, they can issue a red notice.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Hi, I'm Dion Free. Winning requires audacity. That's why I joined African Bank and opened a 60-month fixed-term investment account. I'm scoring 12.8% interest at expiry on my investment. How cool is that? You too can join the bank that backs you to grow your money. Pop into a branch near you or visit africanbank.co.za. African Bank. Audacity to believe. African Bank is a licensed financial services and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Your office is more than just a place to work. It's a reflection of your success. At Desk and Chair, we help you elevate your workspace with locally manufactured desks and a wide range of chairs to suit your style and budget. Our expert consultants are with you every step of the way, from planning to delivery and assembly. Visit our showroom in Midrand or shop online at deskandchair.co.za. Desk and Chair. Think, feel, work better.
Welcome to the brand new days.
Sail the world with Norwegian Cruise Line, with more to see, more to do, and more to enjoy. Plus, upgrade your holiday with NCL's More at Sea for premium beverages, specialty dining, and much more. Think international cruising. Think NCL. For the best deals available, visit ncl.com or contact your travel agent. Restrictions apply.
Welcome to the brand new days.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi, John and team. Dunstan here, Rustenburg. If you have not been to Sabi in the Mpumalanga, it is some of the most dramatic landscape and iconic parts of the country to go and take a look at. So many waterfalls to see, the potholes, mountains, dramatic, deep rivers. Anyone else that has been there will tell you that it's a fantastic place to see.
Right on the doorstep of 702 land, the cradle of humankind. What a visit.
Oh, so nice.
Good day, Uncle John. Good day, 72 Lenders. Abraham in Florida. Uncle John, there's a place down in the Eastern Cape. It's called Port Alfred. Oh my God, John and the listeners, you have to see that place. Just Google Port Alfred. You will see the visuals. The temperature is great. The view is amazing, Uncle John. The only downside to it is that the roads are not that great, leading to Port Alfred. But however, the experience is something else, Uncle John. You can have a story to write home about. It's not a usual place that people flock to, but I've seen a couple of tourists there.
Yeah, some great places. And yeah, we're all at work. So we can't get in our cars because we're coming back to work tomorrow. Fortunately, we're doing something we absolutely love. But in all seriousness, please do keep them coming. And I kind of agree with Karabo when he said a little bit earlier, well, okay, let's just take the whole country, because there are so many places of significant beauty. What I'm keen to hear from you, though, is favorite tourist attractions in South Africa. I picked a specific place, i.e. the Constitutional Court. We've had backing for the Kruger Park and for all sorts of other places as well. But it is the beginning of Tourism Month, so let's celebrate the extraordinary assets that we have. I'm not going to tell you where my favorite beach is because some of you may go there. It's nice and deserted as it is. That's a bit selfish. I might change my mind. 20-4.
EWN Sport.
Tolakela, very good afternoon to you. Football in South Africa, football in the UK, and football in Germany. And then, of course, that Rugby World Cup win. Over to you.
Thanks so much, John. Well, Liverpool remain top of the standings in the Premier League following their 1-0 win over Arsenal, while they're reportedly set to boost their attacking force by signing Alexander Isak from Newcastle. In confirmed transfer day deals, Aston Villa will have signed Victor Lindelof on a 2-year contract and are set to be closing in on the loan deals of Harvey Elliott and Jadon Sancho. Switching over to the Betway Premiership, where there were wins for the league's big three on a weekend that saw Peter Shalulile also become the PSL's all-time goal scorer with 130 strikes. Miguel Cardoso paid the Namibian this tribute following his achievement.
Peter is an important player for us and will be until he one day, let's hope it is far away from now on time, he leaves the club, and naturally he'll be used according to the management of the team. And today he made very good performance, and he scored the goal that gives him the highest position as a top scorer in the history of the PSL. So fantastic, congratulations to Peter.
Orlando Pirates have moved up to 5th following their 3-0 win over Chipa United. Next up for the Buccaneers after the international break is the MTN 8 final against Stellenbosch. Arislam Wadu has discussed how his plans are being interrupted due to the loss of 8 players, while Stellenbosch don't have any called up for national team duty.
It's the life of the big clubs, and we have to deal with that. We have to manage that. We don't have anything to do about that. Just encourage our players. I hope they will give the best for their country, for the national team. It's very important. I was a few years ago international player, and I know how it's important to play for their country. And we will manage that. We don't have any choice.
Bayer Leverkusen have fired Erik ten Hag after just 2 Bundesliga matches in charge. His sacking means he now has the unwanted record of the shortest Bundesliga coaching tenure, as he breaks the previous mark of just 5 games. And over to the Rugby World Cup, where Swayze de Bruin masterminded South Africa's first ever win over Italy in the tournament. That follows their 29-24 victory in their second pool game. That win was enough to see the Springbok women qualify for the quarterfinals for the very first time.
This is unreal. It's so emotional. We've never made quarters. We've never beaten Italy. To score 5 tries in a game like this, I'm so proud of my management, the doctors, everyone. It's really, you can hear it. It's in South Africa emotional now. So I'm so proud I can be part of it, and it's just amazing.
Tolagele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
At 17 minutes to 4, let's update you on what's happening out on the roads. Edenvale's got some problems. Karabo Chale has the details.
Yeah, that's if you are heading towards the Bedford View area, there's slow-moving traffic in Edenvale. That's on the R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Gililis interchange. If you are in the south of Joburg, Lenasia, there's an accident scene causing heavy delays. This approaching the intersection of Klipspruit Valley and Nirvana Drive, so avoid that route if you can. And Devland, we still have those roadworks causing some delays on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue, Protea Glen. Also bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R559. And if you're heading towards Roodepoort, Kagiso area, expect those delays in Durban Deep, Randfontein Road between Caller Drive and Centenary Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Still to come on 702 Drive, we're going to try and find out why the swimming pools in Tshwane didn't open today as they should. If you're elsewhere in South Africa, 1 September, first day of spring, is meant to be the day when public pools open. Is the pool where you live and the pool that you might like to use open? And if it's not, how are you going to deal with that? I mean, it's going to get much, much hotter than it is now. It's an asset for which you pay, whether you're paying via rates or general taxes. It's a public facility, so you're reasonably entitled to expect a swimming pool to open and be usable on the 1st of September. So if you've got some news to share on that, please do give us a call. It's 3:45.
John is on X.
At John Perlman.
Favorite South African tourist attraction. They keep coming in, but we've got Tolakele to give us hers. And if you, by the way, don't be like me if you've got like a really special spot that you don't want to mention because you think other people might go there. Don't do that. One spoil sport in the studio is more than enough.
There's so many, John. I loved the Sabi. It was fantastic.
Yes.
The Kruger was also beautiful. Amazimtoti for me is just like every year we go there. It's a what KZN is just for me a beautiful province to be in. There's so many attractions there as well. Yeah, those are definitely the top three. Zikona Miso, our deputy news editor, she's recommended Coffee Bay as well.
Oh,
she
that's
says,
gorgeous.
She
Yes.
said it's beautiful. So that's another one that's on my hit list.
So on the beach subject, Cynthia says, your beach, John, your beach. Tell us. We promise we won't stalk, harass or ambush you. Oh, all right. It's a beach in Cape Town, just on the side of Cape Point, called Smitswinkelbaai. Now, the thing about it is, first of all, it's not always a great beach to go to, depending on the wind. If the wind's blowing strong and from a certain direction, it's not the great. But on a windless day, the other thing about it is you have to do some work to get there. You walk down a really long, steep slope, which is fabulous because you're nice and hot and you dive into the ocean. The problem is you have to walk back. So that does put a few people off. An absolutely stunning beach. Then Chris says the place I would encourage to visit is the Karoo Meanders. It's the most beautiful place. I do not know the Karoo Meanders. I'm not sure exactly what it refers to. I can Google. But Chris, if you want to maybe give us a call or maybe just add in something by way of a voice note, just a bit more detail. I drive through the Karoo whenever I can, and I do love it, and I've got some favorite spots, but I don't know the meanders. So if you can fill me in on that, please do. 13 minutes to 4 o'clock on 702 Drive.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Now, one of the other things that we're going to be talking about a little bit later in the show, and I'm really looking forward to getting your take on this. There is a study that's been done which looks at which are the most expensive parts of South Africa for groceries in South Africa. Johannesburg is considered more expensive for groceries than for example, Durban or Cape Town. I must admit the Cape Town number surprised me a little bit, and I don't fully understand why that would be the case. If you're involved in that particular aspect of commerce and business in South Africa, is it the transport costs? I mean, obviously, if stuff's being shipped in, it's cheaper if it lands in Durban or perhaps lands in Cape Town. But I would have thought with the massive manufacturing capacity that we have in Gauteng in general and in the Joburg area in particular, I would have thought the balance of stuff imported versus stuff that is actually made in South Africa would kind of make things relatively even. But anyway, Joburg it is. So We'll find out a little bit more about that. My guest on that, Sibusiso Mboto, is Advocacy Coordinator at the Pietermaritzburg Economic Justice and Dignity Group. A couple of you coming up with your swimming pool feedback. More, please. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. Tourist attraction, Zakele and Alex says, I am so in love with Mgeni Park in Durban near Blue Lagoon. Don't know the place? Next time I'm there, I will check it out. 11 minutes to 4.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Right, let's get into this story. Really did catch my eye on the Business Live site. AfriForum has done a study looking at South Africa's landfill sites. Now, I must admit this is an area of our urban life, although it's not just an urban phenomenon, obviously, but of our urban and town life that I don't know a great deal about. I know that the subject comes up whenever we look at recycling and reclamation of things like plastic and tin cans. But they have done a study of 169 landfill sites, and they say only 22% of these comply substantially with minimum standards. Now, this, you may say, well, I don't live near one. This is not a problem for me. Think again, because this is affecting underground water, surface water. It has implications for air pollution as well. So let's get into the issue. Let's understand the details a little bit more. And welcome to 702 Drive, Marius de Val, who is AfriForum's advisor for environmental affairs. Very good afternoon to Mr. de Val. And let's just start off with this question. How did you pick the landfill sites that you wanted to study, and what exactly were you setting out to evaluate? Good afternoon.
Hi, John, and happy Spring Day to you.
And to you.
Thank you. Yeah, to dive right in, AfriForum is a member-based organization, so we've got branches all across the country, and we make use of these structures to carry out the audit. So it's in communities where our members are based, where we can dispatch them and send them out to go and do our audit of their local municipal landfill sites. So that number, the 169 sites that we audited, gives us a representative sample of municipal landfill sites across the country. There's roughly 545 municipal landfill sites. So statistically, we're happy that it is a representative sample, and if we had to go and audit each and every municipal landfill site, our results would look quite similar. We can say with 95% confidence that the score, the pass rate that we found, 22%, would be within plus or minus 5%, the same.
Yes, and let me just quickly say, I called you Marius. Your name, in fact, is Mare, but you know that. Our listeners
I
didn't.
respond to Marius.
No, let's get it correct. Mare de Val, talking about their study of landfill sites. Let's get back into what you say, a failure to meet minimum standards. What are those standards? What do they refer to?
Okay, so I'd like to point out that we don't do a full legal audit of these landfill sites. That's a very in-depth, complicated process. There's obviously a whole bunch of legislation involved, and then the permit or license requirements of every particular site. So we've distilled the basic requirements for responsible waste management to a list of about 33 questions. Once we answered them, it translates to a score out of 25, which we then convert to percentage. But it's things that you would expect without being a trained professional at a landfill site. Something like a functioning weigh bridge, because you need to know what's coming into the landfill site, what's going out, to plan volumes and do estimates of when the landfill site needs to expand. It's something like access control, so that the public can't gain unauthorized access because it's an operational area with heavy machinery. It can be very dangerous. Fencing and security, inspection of loads, because what we often see is it's a complete free-for-all. You drive in, nobody stops you, and a municipal landfill site is only supposed to handle general household waste.
Right.
But if there's no control of who comes in and out, you find unauthorized types of waste on landfill sites. Something like waste tires is something you often see, animal carcasses, And these are dangerous. It can lead to uncontrolled fires. It can spread diseases. So it's basic requirements that should be in place.
So one of the things that you talk about is the fact that there are significant environmental implications. They could affect water, could result in air pollution and so on. Where do you see a remedy for this? Because while you could have a checklist of to-dos, we are dealing with municipalities that themselves are dysfunctional in very large numbers. Are there any quick fixes that come to mind?
Quick fixes, unfortunately not, because what we're seeing is that these sites aren't managed the way they're supposed to be, and the officials that are responsible for managing them basically get away without any form of accountability.
Right.
So step one for us is to engage with the relevant authorities to try and hold municipalities accountable where they are failing. And then it must also be said in South Africa, the informal sector plays a massive role in recycling. I think you also mentioned that in your introduction.
Right.
We've got very ambitious goals nationally for diverting waste from landfill so that there's less volumes of waste that need to be dealt with on a landfill site. But we are missing those targets. By 2025, 40% of all household waste should have been diverted from landfill. Nationally, we stand about at 5%, and that's mainly attributed to the informal sector. So while that is commendable, unfortunately, a lot of that informal recycling is happening uncontrolled on landfill sites, and the waste pickers are exposed to dangerous working conditions. So that's another big red flag.
It's very interesting because I was going to ask you, Mr. Defal, in a moment about the waste pickers and the contribution and role that they play. So I understand from what you're saying that their contribution is there and it's valid, but firstly, the conditions put them at risk. But secondly, it doesn't resolve the other problems. For example, stuff being put on the sites that shouldn't be going there in the first place. But secondly, it also doesn't deal with the fact that, when space for the landfill needs expanding, that's not being managed either. But just to be clear, you see the value of the waste picker's role.
Yes, of course. And again, there are commendable plans on paper, but it's at the point of implementation that the failures happen. So a municipality might have a plan for registering workers and issuing them with protective clothing and providing training on how a landfill site is supposed to operate and what dangers there are to be avoided.
Right.
But oftentimes, again, it's on paper, just like the legislation that sets the requirements are really world-class. But when it comes to implementation, that's where we see the problem. So you would think the solutions are actually pretty straightforward. I mean,
yes.
Having security to check what goes in and out, and a weigh bridge, and collecting tariffs for dumping, all of the things that should be done can be done with actually not that much resources, but for whatever reason, it's not happening.
Thank you very much. Marais Defal joining us from AfriForum, where he is the advisor for environmental affairs. They've just done a study of 169 landfill sites. Maybe this is an issue close to your heart if you're an environmentalist, perhaps involved in town or city planning, or in the recycling business, or you have a landfill quite near where you live. Either way, if you've got some perspective on this and a contribution you want to make, please do give us a call. Bev adds this: please tell your guest in Eldorado Park families live in that dump. Again, measure of the huge problems we have in urban South Africa. 702 Drive, 2 minutes to 4.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Mabota, 1 to 3 p.m.
I want to know your thoughts, particularly around parents who are frustrated saying, the school says they can't accommodate me. The school says we must find a special school. But then how do you prepare your child for a world where there are no special employers and special this?
A lot of families and a lot of parents do deny the fact that there's something not typical with their child. and they basically hide the fact or they deny the fact, and that leads to so many more issues in life. And you look at individuals around us and I think, wow, if they had have been diagnosed with a condition when they were younger, their entire journey would have been different.
The founder and CEO of babyyumyum.com, Amanda Rogeli.
7:02 afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
The Standard Bank Joy of Jazz 2025 is diving deep into the heart and art of jazz. This year, the legendary Jazz at Lincoln Center Orchestra with Wynton Marsalis are making a triumphant return to Johannesburg. You can expect an unforgettable lineup with over 60 megastars gracing the stage, including Esperanza Spalding, Michelle Ndegeo cello, Umo Sangare, our very own Sia Makuzeni, Amanda Black, Vusi Mahlasela, Nduduzo Makatini, the Benjamin Jefter Trio, and many more. Buy tickets to this incredible 3-day festival from the 26th to the 28th of September. Tickets are selling fast via Ticketmaster. Take me there.
Every day I'm hustling. It's our reality as business owners. And it's good to know that there's someone out there who takes care of the business that makes the business. Gotta love My Way Business Insurance. Saving big on premiums with 24/7 emergency services, plus My Business Assist with marketing, legal, and labor advice services.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
Backed by popular demand, legendary jazz icon Kenny G will be performing at the Super Bowl at Sun City on Friday, the 3rd of October. Get ready for an unforgettable night of timeless hits and pure musical magic. Get your tickets from webtickets.co.za. Brought to you by Breakout Events and 702.
This is EWN.
The NPA welcomes sentence handed down to Amantle Samane's killer, and final touches remain before Lillian Ngoyi is reopened. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. The National Prosecuting Authority has welcomed the life sentence handed down to Pete Simiao for the rape and murder of a 6-year-old Soweto child. Simiao was handed 2 life sentences in the Johannesburg High Court today for the rape and murder of Amantle Samane. The child's lifeless body was found in Simiao's shack in Orlando East, Soweto. He later confessed to the crimes, pleading guilty in court. Today, Judge William Karam ruled that Simiao failed to demonstrate true and genuine remorse. NPA spokesperson Pindim Jonodwane says the court considered all material facts when arriving at an appropriate sentence.
It is one that has considered the seriousness of the case as well as how it has affected the family of the deceased. It has considered the seriousness of the crime and the criminal himself. More importantly, during its remarks, the court mentioned that the accused was feeling sorry for himself rather than a sign of remorse by pleading guilty.
Despite commitments to reopen Lillian Ngoyi Street to traffic today, the city of Johannesburg says motorists will only be able to use the road from the 12th of September. Mayor Dada Morero says while the main repair work is finished, a few touch-ups still need to be completed before the road can safely open. The street was severely damaged in July 2023 when an underground gas explosion split it into 2, leaving 1 person dead and several others injured. Alpha Ramashwana reports.
The city of Johannesburg has completed major repairs on Lillian Ngoyi Street, but the road will remain closed to traffic at least until the end of this month. The Metro says the delay is due to ongoing work, including paving sidewalks, removing construction equipment, painting road markings, and completing a bus stop shelter. Johannesburg Mayor Dada Morero says 12 more days is all they need to complete everything.
Just minor issues that have to be done. On the 12th, you can come and drive, you can come walk, you can open your businesses. There's a whole lot of things that you'll be able to do.
So far, only 82 million rand has been spent to fix the road. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
Learners from the Alra Park Primary School in Nigel are expected to return to class in phases from the end of this week. Grade 7 learners will head back first, followed by the lower grades. Pupils have experienced 3 weeks of disruptions due to a protest against the school's aging infrastructure. Education MEC Matume Chilwane visited the school today to meet with Infrastructure Crisis Committee members to discuss solutions to the problems raised. Jabulile Mbata has more.
The absence of a kitchen and nutrition center for learners, no paving, uncut grass, and no electricity in some classes. These are some of the issues Education MEC Matume Chilwane has promised will be addressed in the short-term goals. Meanwhile, construction of a new school will begin. It's expected to complete in 18 months, and during that time, learners will use mobile classrooms. Education MEC Matume Chilwane.
The mobiles that are currently here, we're going to renovate them. That part will be done as soon as possible, including the issues of dust, which are quite dusty, and kids have asthma. We don't want our kids to suffer. We have come to an agreement on how best to improve and get pavements up and running, but also the electrification of some.
He added that the construction of the new school will also happen in phases. Jabulile Mbata, Eyewitness News, Alra Park Primary School.
A retired teacher who lost 3 of her adult children in the Boksburg explosion in 2022 says she wants compensation for her loss. The families of 41 people who died and those who survived have filed a multi-million rand lawsuit against entities that they believe should be held accountable. These include the trucking company, the labor broker of the driver, and the city of Ekurhuleni. It has been almost 3 years since a truck carrying 6,000 litres of liquefied petroleum gas exploded after being stuck under a low-lying bridge. Tabiso Koba has more.
After working for over 3 decades as a teacher, Rose Mashaba cashed out her pension and bought a house in Boksburg. After her retirement, Mashaba was being supported by her children, who she put through both school and university. On the 24th of December 2022, Mashaba lost 3 of them to the explosion.
Oh, well, what I can say, I'll be happy if I can get something to, because even their graves, I didn't have money to buy them. Tombstones, I can use that money for tombstones. I can fix the house, I can pay. Obviously, the trust will pay for their education of children.
Mashaba's home was also damaged during the explosion. While she has replaced the windows, the white walls and ceiling are still stained by the smoke from that day. Tabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
And more than 250 media houses in over 70 countries have been protesting to highlight the deaths of scores of journalists in Gaza. The journalists have vowed to disrupt front pages, home pages and broadcasts to demand an end to Israel's war against Hamas. The protest comes 1 week after 5 journalists working for Al Jazeera and the Associated Press were killed in Israeli airstrikes. They say at this rate, there will be soon no one left to keep the world informed about what is happening in Gaza. The death toll of media professionals has now climbed to over 210 since October 2023. Gold is trading at $3,477.16 an ounce. The rand is at 17.59 to the dollar, 23.82 to the pound, 20.61 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $67.48 a barrel.
Well, at this stage, if you're heading towards Germiston, that's leaving the Sandton Alexandra area on the N3 southbound. There's slow-moving traffic. This is between the Butlu interchange and Van Buren. Also, if you are in the Bryanston area heading towards Fourways, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic N1 southbound between Rivonia Road and Winnie Mandela Drive. And also, if you are driving through the Joburg CBD, that's coming from Houghton Parktown area, slow-moving traffic M1 southbound between Oxford Road and the Killarney Bends.
In your sport, deadline day DLC, Liverpool secure Alexander Isak signing as Victor Lindelof joins Aston Villa. Erik ten Hag fired by Bayer Leverkusen after just 2 Bundesliga games. And the Springbok women make history and are set for their maiden World Cup quarter-final appearance.
In your weather, a fine Tuesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg dropping to overnight lows of 11 degrees, peaking at 30. Vereeniging 10 and 30, and Pretoria 12 and 30 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. The NPA has welcomed the life sentence handed down to Pete Simiao for the rape and murder of a 6-year-old Soweto child.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Drive home with John Perlman
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
on 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes past 4 on 702 Drive. It's good to have you with us on this Monday. I hope you had a good weekend. Are you feeling sort of good about the fact that the weather is warmer, that the sun is shining by and large, although I do realize people are listening to us all over the country and indeed in many parts of the world. But largely speaking, most of you will be able to say, yep, spring today. How's spring treating you so far? And does it lead to any kind of shift in your mood? I must admit, I like waking up when it's warmer, and I do feel a lot better. There are things I like about winter, but the warmer weather is the time when I expect to flourish. So maybe you've got a thought on that, give us a call. We also asked you a little bit earlier, given that September is Tourism Month, what exactly you would say in answer to the question, your favorite tourism attraction in South Africa. We've had some good ones already. We definitely want to hear yours, and I'm always keen to find out about places that I've never been. This definitely counts as one of those. From Tato says, Douglas, where the Orange River meets the Vaal, and you're able to see the different color of the rivers. It is a beautiful sight. I've heard that before. I've never been there. One to put on the list, but keep those coming, please. I am expecting to compile a good long list, and then I'll start knocking them off as the years unfold. Coming up on the show, we are going to be asking this question. There have been a couple of instances now where senior figures, very senior figures in the security establishment, the head of the SANDF, no less, and the Commissioner of Police, no less, have done things that have prompted the political heads of the departments in which they find themselves to say, hang on, that is completely out of order. We'll go into some of those details, but I'm wondering, are we starting to see a little pattern here? Because it's happened more than once. Yeah, 2, 3 instances don't necessarily make a pattern, but I do believe it's worth asking the question, are we seeing a degree of defiance from those areas of our national life towards political authority? Slippery slope potentially if they are. Professor Alex van den Heever joins us from the Wits School of Governance. And then inflation and how much money you pay for the groceries you use and the food that you eat. The most expensive province for groceries, the most expensive city for these. We'll explore both of those with Sibusiso Mboto, who's advocacy coordinator at the Pietermaritzburg Economic Justice and Dignity Group. All that and more coming up on 702 Drive. Let's find out, though, a few more places that we ought to visit.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good day, John. To your question of which is my favorite destination, I will have to say it's Vicksburg. Beautiful, picturesque, calm place. I loved it. But on Saturday, I took the tour bus through Joburg. I love my country. I love my city. It was so insightful. I felt safe. I felt so wonderful. The service was great. The bus tour was amazing. The only complaint that I do have is the filth. The filth, it is disgusting. But everything else was amazing.
Good afternoon, Uncle John. Funny you should be talking about swimming pools that were supposed to open today. Just got in my car driving home, and I heard you asking about this. In our community, in the community WhatsApp group, they were talking about it. Some are happy that it's not open because people from other areas also come. Pay, of course, 5 rand fee to swim. Others are like, well, we don't have swimming pools in our homes. We'd rather share with others as long as we're going to cool down. Yeah, battle of the swimming pools. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know there was that kind of conflict around swimming pools, but I have to say the fact that a swimming pool is located in a particular area does not mean I have to say that it belongs to that area. If however you define it, you can take it on square kilometers or whatever, but everybody will have paid rates, everybody would have contributed financially in one way or another to the building of that pool. So whoever pays the fee to go in gets to swim there. My concern is, and we're still trying to get someone from Tshwane to actually come on and talk about their explanation for why the pools are not going to be opening. And they say the chlorine for the pools has not been delivered. Now, firstly, the framing of that to say that the chlorine has not been delivered. If you paid for the chlorine on time and against the terms of sale and it hasn't been delivered, that's one thing. But if it hasn't been delivered because it hasn't been ordered, you would also not be ordering chlorine, having once owned a swimming pool, not for a long time, I must admit. You do tend to order the chlorine well before the day in which you intend to swim. That's the way you look after things. But I think the Tshwane Metro knows that. We'll get him on and see if we can find out what exactly it is they have to say. We'll talk about that at 10 to 5. 14 minutes past 4, traffic time.
EWN Traffic.
Eyewitness News traffic with Plumlink, your local plumbing store. Visit plumlink.co.za to find your nearest store. Let's get a very quick update on what's happening out on the roads. Edenvale was a problem. Now we're having difficulties in Bryanston.
Yes, there's traffic pressure in Bryanston. Not yet clear what's causing that delay, but if you have any more info, if you're traveling on the N1 southbound between Rivonia Road and Winnie Mandela Drive heading towards the Four Ways area, please let us know what's causing your delay this afternoon. WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702. We are also on X at EWN Traffic. Also in the Alex area, Alexander, Gomorrah, if you're heading towards Germiston, traffic heavily backed up on the N3 southbound between the Bethleans Change and Van Buren. There's also slow-moving traffic in the south. That's Lenasia. This is due to an accident scene on approaching the intersection of Cliffspruit Valley and Nirvana Drive. Expect delays through there. Devland roadwork still slowing down traffic on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue, and also in Protea Glen we still have bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R559. Like I said, if you come across any other traffic issues, you can also SMS us on 31702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
If it's plumbing, you'll find it at Plumlink, South Africa's largest plumbing retailer. From pipes, fittings, geysers, and baths to basins, taps, tools, and accessories, we've got it all. With more than 10,000 quality products at the right price and over 150 stores nationwide, there's always a Plumlink near you, ready to help with expert advice and unbeatable value. Find your nearest branch today at plumlink.coza.
Plumlink, your local plumbing store.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive. So a couple of things going on. You may be familiar with some of the details. Let me summarize them as briefly as I can. Acting Minister of Police, Feroz Kachalia, at the end of last week, raised his concerns about the decision taken by Police Commissioner Fani Masemola to return political killings dockets to KwaZulu-Natal. This was the dockets related to the work of the KZN Political Killings Task Team. The minister expressed concerns, as I understand it, on two grounds. One was that a commission of inquiry was investigating the matter, and secondly, he indicated that the police commissioner had delayed in getting a previously requested report on the task team to him. Now, is this an isolated incident, or do we connect it as well to what happened earlier in the month, this involving the head of the SANDF, General Ruzani Mapwanya, who, while in Iran, made comments about the political relationships between Iran and our country, spoke about strategic alliances and working together, and there were some others. There was reproach on this from the Department of Foreign Affairs, and I think from another Ministry as well. I'll give you the exact details on that. And the Ministry of Defence dissociated government from his remarks. Linked to that, the General rather, and the SANDF is also being taken to task in some quarters for failing to follow an order, a direct order from Minister of Defence Angie Motshekga to reinstate an officer who had been wrongfully dismissed. Now, are these isolated incidents, or is there a pattern? And if there is even the beginnings of a pattern, I think it's a worrying one, where senior figures in the security establishment are not taking seriously the concerns expressed by their political overseers. Well, let's get into this then with Professor Alex van den Heever from the Wits School of Governance. Prof, welcome and thanks very much for your time. I know ministers, for example, the Minister of Police is not meant to interfere, for example, in policing decisions, but presumably that doesn't mean they have no say on what the Commissioner does or doesn't do. How exactly is this supposed to work? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Well, I think I have a great problem with the current Minister of Police's remarks and the President's remarks, because I think this is an issue in which you have to stay in your lane.
Yes.
The commission of inquiry that is being set up is not the same as a police investigation, and there is absolutely no problem in having a police investigation pursued and take evidence from that investigation into the commission of inquiry. There's no destruction of evidence, there's no loss of information, and there's no loss of process. What we saw in the Zondo Commission was all investigations in the police appeared to come to a halt. And when they finished the Commission of Inquiry, nobody prosecuted anything and investigated anything systematically or properly. They waited until the end, and they waited for information and trails to go cold. So you don't do that. So there's no reason at all to stop these investigations. They should proceed. The Commission of Inquiry has a different brief. It's not there as an investigative body that leads to any particular or specific action.
Right.
So the police must carry on and do their job, and it is distinct from the Iran issue, because there you don't have a head, basically a member of the administration, the sort of the director, the equivalent of a director general, making political statements at an international level that place the South African government at risk. That's a completely different matter, and it can be ignorance and stupidity, or or something else. But that was clearly wrong, but the strange thing there is that he hasn't actually been penalised and fired, which he should have been. So those are some of the interesting things, but I would definitely see them as two distinct issues, and I don't see a pattern as such here that makes it worrying that we have members of the security forces acting off their own bat. I don't see that at all.
So it's very important, because I've collapsed and put together two things you're saying. They're absolutely distinct. Let's go back then to the issue where the acting police minister and the president has been confirmed by his spokesperson, Vincent Magwenya, taking issue with what General Fani Masemola did with those political killings, task team dockets. In fact, what you're saying, if there is any stepping over the line, it's from the politicians here.
Absolutely. And in fact, what was originally complained about by Makwemazi was that the dockets had been taken away. They should never have been removed through an improper process. And as I saw the statement from Masemola, was that they're making copies. They've got copies of all the dockets, and they'll be reverted back so they can continue with concluding whatever they need to conclude with those dockets. So there's nothing lost, and the inquiry can still check whether or not there was anything procedurally incorrect or any improper conduct by the provincial commissioner, and nothing stops that from happening. But what could stop is actual investigations, arrests, and follow-up that could have very significant effects for us. Because it's 141 dockets. These are people, it's a police killings task force. It's about people who are assassinating people who are interfering in government processes, assassinating people who are, in some cases, protecting society from criminals. So it's obviously one of the most important crimes to investigate, and it can go to the highest people in the country. So it must continue, and it mustn't be interfered with. So I think that these remarks are improper because they suggest that people must hold back and wait, and then the effect of the original interference would be allowed to actually continue.
And just finally on this, Prof. van den Heever, I mean, obviously, and you've indicated very clearly that I'm putting together two things that don't belong together. But in general, we're always on the lookout, or, some people certainly are, for anything that suggests that our delicate constitutional balance is out of whack. In general, you're saying that it's not a problem in this instance. Would you say it's not really a problem in general, that the security establishment, by and large, follows the political framework and guidelines that they're meant to?
Yeah, so I'd say that to the extent that we have difficulties from a constitutional perspective and a sort of a degree of fragility, it's the state capture aspects, not a military coup.
Yes.
The greatest danger is that we have criminal elements who capture the sort of strategic heights of government and are able to essentially wield power through that, so they have immunity from prosecution. That's dangerous. That's not the same as a coup. That's essentially where government, the center, is basically failed to hold. And I would say that the police investigations are part of actually challenging that, which is why they must proceed, as well as the Commission of Inquiry, which must also proceed. Then we all get clarity on what is going on. But and then somebody must also act on that. So that's all part of it. I don't see that we are sitting with the possibility of a military coup. I do see that we have great risks where the state fails to proceed against the people who are responsible for systemic crime in South Africa, organized crime, and organized crime facilitated through the state.
Thank you so much, Professor Alex van den Heever from the Wits School of Governance, 4:25.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Cost of living gets higher and higher all the time, it would seem, although the prices of some things do come down. One of the organizations that does crucial work looking at the household food basket is the Pietermaritzburg Economic Justice and Dignity Group, and their figures for August show that Johannesburg continues to be the most expensive city among South Africa's three major metros. This has been the case for 4 consecutive months. Well, why is that? Let's find out from my next guest. Advocacy coordinator at the group is Sibusiso Mboto, and we welcome him to the show. Mr. Mboto, welcome. Thanks a lot for your time. Why is Joburg, for example, more expensive than Cape Town? Does anything in your study give an indication as to the reason for that?
Good afternoon to you, John, and your listeners, and thank you very much for inviting us. It's always tricky when it comes to Joburg, and you try and compare it to other metros, whether it's a Tebini Metro, it's the city of Cape Town, or it's Mangaung. But one of the aspects that one needs to consider is that Joburg is not necessarily known for being a fresh produce division,
right.
or rather part of the country, and therefore any consumption of goods and services in Joburg probably has to involve a lot of movement of goods from the point of production to the point of consumption. And that is one of the aspects that we think that needs to be looked into. Because we really think that seems to be the crux of the matter. Because when you compare it to Cape Town is known for producing citrus and other goods, and eThekwini, KwaZulu-Natal is also known for producing other fresh produce as well.
So the overall trends in August, are we seeing more of the elements of your basket? You track 44 food items, food and non-alcoholic beverages, more of them going down than up? What's the pattern?
what we've noticed, for instance, is that in Durban, so in Durban there was a decrease. In Pietermaritzburg there was a decrease. In Mtuba there was a decrease, as well as in the city of Cape Town there was a decrease. Slightly in Joburg,
yes.
But again in Joburg, everything is always relative because you've got to look at it in totality. The transport cost and everything else. And what we often emphasize is when you want to understand the cost of food prices in South Africa, don't just look at buying a packet of maize meal in isolation, but look at it in relation to that packet of maize meal enabling you to prepare porridge or a meal for the family, and that includes your water and electricity, and that then makes everything then become more costly or less costly, depending on which part of the country you're living in. And so that's why Joburg tends to be slightly expensive when you compare it to other parts of South Africa.
Thank you so much, Sibusiso Mboto, Advocacy Coordinator at the Pietermaritzburg Economic Justice and Dignity Group, 29 minutes past 4.
EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, a very good afternoon to you. Start of a new week, eh?
Indeed, good afternoon to you, John. Well, the gold price shooting the lights out, so that's having a big impact on shares. The JSE All Share up 0.25% at 102,083 points. Financials down 0.5%. Industrials down 1.22%. And resources up 3.95%, John. The gold price really is extraordinary. The big loser of the day, though, is Bidvest. The conglomerate, they're down 6.31%. They did report while their revenue was up 5% for the year to the end of June. Its profits were up just by 1%. It's been hit hard by a big decrease in bulk exports. That's in its freight division. Commercial profits were also down, as were the contributions to the business from its stock in Adcock Ingram. That's about to be delisted. We'll speak to the CEO of Bidvest on the Money Show this evening. MTN are down 4%. Data Tech down nearly 3%, while Kumbura are down 2.5%, and Boxer is down 2.45%, while Truworths are down 2.2%. They had results out late last week. RCL Foods reporting today their headline earnings per share up by nearly 29% in the year to the end of June. Their baking divisions had a strong turnaround. I mean, maybe I've just been visiting their pie shop too much. There are also issues around the price of sugar and the impact on sugar imports, though. And then Bell Equipment reporting their earnings will be down by around 22% for the 6 months to the end of June, mainly because of global slowdown in key markets, slow demand. It says the U.S. market has been affected by tariffs and sea harvest. Able to catch more hake, that's pushed its profits up by 33% for the 6 months to the end of June. Sibanye are up nearly 13%. Northern Platinum up nearly 11%. Platinum prices higher too. Northern had their results out last week. So did Sibanye. Implats up 10.5%. And then the gold miners. Harmony up 60. RD Gold up 5.5% on the day. U.S. markets are closed for Labor Day today, John. But in Asia, the Chinese tech giant Alibaba, their Hong Kong shares went up 18%. I mean, it's astonishing when you consider the size of Alibaba. They said that artificial intelligence had driven a big surge in revenue to their cloud business. The gold price, $3,475.51 an ounce. Lots of analysis suggesting it'll go to $3,500. I think that'll only be the second time it's ever got there. Platinum, $1,408, also much higher. Brent crude, $68.19, and the rand to the dollar, 17.57 to the euro, 20.58 to the British pound, 23.80. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
Thanks, Stephen. Back with us in about 55 minutes' time at 28 minutes to 5. Mbali Dlamini has the very latest news.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. The Sex Worker Education and Advocacy Task Team, SWET, is confident that sex work will soon be decriminalized in the country. Today, SWET's legal team argued for the Western Cape High Court to whittle down on the number of legal teams in its case to decriminalize the work. The case challenges the criminalization of sex work as unconstitutional for more than 150,000 people operating in the country. Carlo Peterson has more.
SWET argues the criminalization of sex work increases sex workers' vulnerability to violence and illness while reducing the likelihood that abuse will be reported to authorities. All aspects of sex work in South Africa are criminalized, meaning both the selling and buying of sex is illegal. SWET member Constance Marty says the NGO is confident sex workers will soon be operating legally.
We have strongly believe that the case is in our hands as the advocates of the decriminalization.
An amicus hearing for the court to decide whether all of the 16 friends of the court will be allowed to argue in the matter is set to conclude tomorrow. Presiding Judge Andre Lagrange says the main trial will most likely proceed early next year. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
Lawyers representing the survivors and families who lost loved ones in the 2022 Boksburg explosion say their fight for justice and a fresh lawsuit could be frustrated by a drawn-out process. A 65 million rand lawsuit was recently filed in an attempt to hold to account the entities families believe are to blame for the deadly explosion. 41 people were killed and many more others were injured. Earlier this year, former Gauteng Judge President Dunstan Mlambo issued a directive for all civil matters to first undergo mediation before being assigned a trial date. Tabiso Koba has more.
LHL Attorneys is a boutique law firm specializing in civil litigation. Shortly after the explosion, their attorneys hit the ground running, gathering evidence from witnesses, survivors, and the families of the deceased. Almost 3 years later, they've put together a civil action lawsuit featuring 67 plaintiffs that include people who suffered life-altering injuries and lost breadwinners from the explosion. With the new court directive ordering mandatory mediation, Associate Attorney Gabriel Berkowitz says this is going to be a long fight.
What we'll really have to do is make sure that our clients are comfortable with a settlement offer. That's the primary concern. If we get a settlement offer, it's too early to say whether or not, we'll accept a certain figure.
The city of Ekurhuleni says it's aware of the lawsuit and has reserved its right to defend itself. Tabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
And thousands of mourners have attended a funeral for 12 senior Houthi figures, including their prime minister, who was killed by an Israeli strike. Gunmen patrolled the area as thousands of mourners flooded in this morning. Last Thursday's attack struck a large number of people who had gathered to watch a televised speech recorded by top Houthi leader Abdul Malik al-Houthi. According to reports, Houthi authorities have arrested dozens of people in Sana'a and other areas on suspicion of collaborating with Israel. It's a fine afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 32 and 33 degrees.
Bryanston traffic heavily backed up. This is on the N1 southbound between Rivonia Road and Winnie Mandela Drive. Also in Alex, traffic heavily backed up on the N3 southbound heading towards Germiston from the Butlu interchange to Van Buren, and also traveling through the Joburg CBD coming from Parktown heading towards Boysons. Expect heavy delays M1 south between the Killarney Bends and the Crown interchange.
The top story in EWN, the Sex Worker Education and Advocacy Task Team is confident that sex work will soon be decriminalized in South Africa.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
The city of Joburg is set to reopen Lilian Ngoyi Street more than 2 years after a massive gas explosion damaged the route. 1 person died and 48 people were injured when the major corridor, formerly known as Bree Street, split in the middle during peak traffic on the 20th of July in 2023. Since then, businesses and daily commute have been affected, with the metro missing several important deadlines to fix the street. The repair work took 26 months, which is double the initially projected time frame.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
Okay.
Okay, it's time. An employer review of my FNB Gold Business account. Okay. You give me 10 free transactions a month, and you even help me pay my banking fees using eBucks. Batong, unlocking more cash from my salon. No other card does this. You reward me so much, I want to reward you.
The FNB Gold Business Account. No other card works harder for your business because your cash flow is worth it. FNB, help changes everything. TCs and earn rules apply. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and credit provider.
Are you looking for the best savings on spectacles? At Specsavers, enjoy 1,500 Rand off when you get tested at South Africa's trusted and most established optical group. Get 1,500 Rand off all frames in store, or use your 1,500 Rand off on our leading lens enhancements, such as drive light lenses that reduce artificial glare whilst driving. Book online or call your nearest store today. Affordable eye care, Specsavers. T's and C's apply.
Alarm goes off, but silently. And now you're late for everything. Leave. Cancel the day before you leave.
I knew it.
1 tick, 2 ticks, blue tick. Hectic.
Yeah, I'm going to need a mac and cheese.
Adulting is hard. Instead of curling up or crashing out, try the new Nando's mac and cheese with delicious cheesy bechamel sauce, topped with crispy peri crumble. Get it as a side with any meal or by itself, because you're just a baby.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for butcheries, restaurants, beauty salons, and more. Here's Gert.
I definitely have peace of mind that Business Outsurance is protecting our business. I do think Business Outsurance are the best insurance company out there, and they gave us the best quotes.
Switch to Business Outsurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
John, good afternoon to you. Tshwane swimming pools. The problem is not just the chlorine, it's the chlorine process because I use chlorine gas more than just the chlorine granules that you're thinking of. Those pools have been in a terrible state of repair for ages. De Jong, the pool that was donated to the municipality, a special diving pool, it's been closed for going on 2-3 years now. It has been allowed to go to rack and ruin. It's a disgrace. Have a good afternoon, Tom.
Good afternoon, John. The nicest place to go to is Port St. John's. You can Google Snooker, where there is a boiling water, natural boiling water, and the mud, like calamine, is allocated next to the beach straight. Everyone who's feeling sick, who's feeling some itchy eyes, is going there for help. Thank you, John. It's Adile here.
Yeah, thank you for these tourism tips. Here's one from Kingsley. I once took an unplanned road trip to KwaZulu-Natal via Mpumalanga and exiting the other side of Volksrust on the Mpumalanga-KZN border. I found myself meandering down a massive mountain covered by a carpet of greenery. Looking back up from the foot of the mountain was a magnificent sight. I stayed at Fell's Retreat in Edumbe, formerly Paul Petersburg, surrounded by some of the most stunning landscapes and hospitality in what I think is called the Amajuba region. Yeah, I've skirted on the edge of that. It sounds absolutely gorgeous. Still to come on 702 Drive, Springbok women are through to the knockout stages of the World Cup for the very first time. After 5, we'll be joined by former junior Springbok women head coach, now assistant coach of the Springbok women's team, Lorian Johannes Haupt, is our guest at 5:10. Let's get the rest of the sport right now.
EWN Sport.
Well, while the women players are buoyant, according to what you're about to tell us, Tolakele, Rassie Erasmus and his team a little bit nervous.
Absolutely, John, and he admits to those nerves ahead of Saturday's Rugby Championship test against New Zealand. Erasmus says both teams haven't been at their best this year, and factors such as form and recent shock losses have added to the tension.
Us in New Zealand, none of us
So really hitting our straps currently. They had a loss and we had one loss. Yeah, we are big rivals. We've been coming a long time. That we've been really close the last couple of years, even so in the World Cup final. So for us, history is obviously a big thing, and there's a big thing made about the whole Eden Park and so on. So for us, no, it's a nervous week.
The Springbok women not only made history by beating Italy 29-24 to reach the World Cup quarterfinals for the first time, but they've also moved into the top 10 of World Rugby's rankings. For Coach Swayze de Bruin, he says while they're excited for that knockout game, they need to refocus ahead of their last pool clash against France.
Are we playing France? Yeah, no, look, I'm just joking. It's such a massive game that's ahead of us, but if I think of it now, we won't make it. So we'll celebrate tonight, tomorrow, and Tuesday only. Tuesday back to Operation France.
Sonny Baker is set to make his international debut for England as Jofra Archer returns to the side for the first ODI against South Africa at Headingley tomorrow. It'll be Archer's first 50-over game since the Champions Trophy match against the Proteas in March. And speaking of South Africa, they've drafted in Cody Yusuf for the 3-game series, having spent the summer in England playing for Durham. Captain Themba Pavuma, meanwhile, has also spoken about the potential of another emerging talent in Kwena Mapaga.
Probably more on the raw side, which makes it even more exciting. I think obviously here in England, especially if the clouds are in play, you could get the ball to swing. It's a bit more awkward to face than other lefties. I think he's one of the guys in terms of managing, trying to provide there's enough resources to him and opportunities to really go on and be something special for the country.
And at the US Open, Novak Djokovic continued his bid for a record 25th Grand Slam title with the straight sets win over qualifier Jean-Leonard Struff, while Marketa von Rosva took down 9-seed Elena Rybakina. Selected names in action tonight include Yannick Sinner, Carlos Alcaraz, Iga Swiatek, while Naomi Osaka faces off against Coco Gauff. For Daniil Medvedev, he split up with his long-term coach Giles Severa days after his first-round loss at the Open. The Russian won the New York Major in 2021 with Cavera by his side and reached 5 other Grand Slam finals. Tholakele Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Right, let's get the very latest from out on the roads. This Eyewitness News Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Karabo Chale, over to you.
Yeah, John, we've been getting reports of issues. This is driving through Bryanston, heading towards Four Ways, Bryanston Drive, Winnie Mandela Drive. Issues about traffic lights not working. This is causing huge delays. It's all a disaster. This is coming from the Bryanston area heading towards Four Ways, N1 South. I understand there's a voice note. Karabo, please.
Hi, traffic. Yeah, the Bryanston issue is that the traffic lights aren't working. And usually over the last couple of months, we've had Outsurance pointsmen. So they're not here today. And it has now caused peak hour backlog and delay because they're not here. So it's backing up, and now it's backing up into the highway because there's no control of the intersections anywhere by Sloan on the highway all the way down to Winnie Mandela. Rudy Joburg.
Yeah, that's delays on the N1 southbound coming from the Batlu interchange all the way from Winnie Mandela Drive. So avoid that route or just allow for extra traveling time. Also, Winnie Mandela Drive between Witkoppen and Main Road also clogged up at this stage. Also, in the LX area heading towards Germiston, expect about a 30-minute delay. N3 southbound between the Batlu interchange and Van Buren. Driving through the Joburg CBD, traveling towards Boysons. Also, bumper-to-bumper traffic. M1 southbound between Killarney Bains and the Crown interchange. In Lenasia, there's that accident scene that we had earlier, causing heavy delays approaching the intersection of Klipspruit Valley and Nirvana Drive. If you come across any other traffic issues, you can also SMS us on 31702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. There's a car with a family driving to their new home, carrying boxes stacked with plates and toys and memories. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic, it's a new beginning, a fresh start on the move. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
So today's many things, Spring Day, the start of Tourism Month. It is also World Handwriting Day, and it's something we talk about each year that it comes around. I find it really interesting, and I wanted to ask you, Tolakele, first of all, do you ever do anything using handwriting? Do you do you still write letters? Do you get any?
I don't get letters, but I do journal and I write with my own hand. My handwriting is atrocious. I've accepted it over time because sometimes I go back to read my own journal entries and I'm like, I don't know what you were going through, but good luck with that.
Yes.
But I still love writing letters. When I am intentional about letter writing, I do take my time to make sure that the writing is perfect. But I haven't gotten a letter, I think, since like grade 6. But if people feel the need to write handwritten letters, love them to bits.
So tell me, do you think that you handwrite in your journal? Do you think it means you connect to the content and the thought process in a different way than if you were typing?
Whenever I do journal, I already have a theme in mind of what exactly I want to talk about. But also I tend to find that a lot of the times as I'm writing, the sentence just flows on its own. And it's like I'm just able to spit out and say whatever I need to without really thinking about it. So I always view it as just like my space to be vulnerable without anybody judging me, because it's the only place where I'm the only person who's responsible for reading it.
Karabo, do you write letters? Do you get letters?
Tolegele's view, I mean, is so deep. Oh, mine is so simple. The only time I literally write for you, for when I write, it's for John when I give him my script for what is in the next traffic. Just giving you a heads up. That's the last. Yeah, and you've complimented my handwriting, and I'm like thinking, John, I just scribbled down a paper. So that's a nice compliment. Thank you. I've got a nice handwriting, everyone, according to John. But yeah, handwriting, I hardly write.
Okay. Well, I think you should write more. I think you should send beautifully composed letters to important people in your life, as long as you don't expect me to do that, because my writing is not very good at all. Do you still write things? Do the young people in your life, do they even engage with handwriting at all? Give us a call, and maybe if you don't do, for example, a handwritten card on a special occasion, what do you do instead? All interesting things. Give us a call on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. It's 10 minutes to 5.
John is on X.
At John Perlman.
So we've been talking about September the 1st being the day on which public swimming pools are supposed to open up. That hasn't happened in Tshwane. And the reason offered for that, for the delayed reopening of public pools, is that they say they have not been able to get the chlorine they need to get the pools ready in time. So let's explore that and find out exactly what went wrong. Obakeng Ramabodu is the MMC for Environment and Agriculture in the Metro and joins us now. MMC, a very good afternoon to you, and thank you for your time. The chlorine didn't arrive in time. Was it ordered in time? Good afternoon. MMC, I don't know if you can hear us. Yes.
The problem that we had is that Rainwater notified us very late about giving us a go-ahead to open our facilities. If, as you remember, that we have been closed because of the restriction from last year, 2024, October. And now you can imagine the time that those swimming pools have been there without operating. We have already put the chlorine and the chemicals, but we need some time for them to dissolve and to be ready for people to utilize. However, we are happy that we have progress. I went there for oversight today, and we are happy to announce that on Wednesday this week, we are going to open out of our 23 swimming pools, at least 10 of them are going to be open, and the other week we are going to open all of them. So I think it was an issue of rainwater and communication with the department, but we are happy with the progress, and we want to apologize for the inconvenience that we have caused for the people who were looking forward for today. It's just we missed it with 2 days, and we take responsibility as the department.
So the Rainwater restrictions placed on you, I want to understand that better. Did they say to you, you can't open on the 1st of September?
Remember, the rainwater has notified us last year that we were consuming a year 19 million liters of water, which is something that they were worried about because of the water restriction. And they say to us, they want us to bring them the management plan on how can we deal with issues of managing our water restriction and water consuming. So we had to adhere to that, and one of them is the issue of making sure that from last year October we follow those restrictions, and they've just approved us recently now to say to us, you can go ahead, we're ahead with your plan, and you can go ahead. The chemical, by the way, if you order that chemical, it takes close to 3 weeks, and you can't just order the chemical without knowing that you are going to utilize it. You have to wait for the notice, because if you keep it for long, it's no more going to be in any assistance, because it has
how long can you keep it for before it becomes ineffective?
You can less than a month. You can't keep it long, because you have to utilize it so that it can be active. As you can tell now, we have put the chemical 5 days last weekend, and now we went to check in with our teams, and we were not happy with the way the water is. We couldn't risk the lives of our people and just open because there's a political pressure somewhere. We can't. We have to be satisfied, and we have to be sure that it's safe for our people to utilize the facility. But as I have explained, that we take responsibility of the swimming pool issue, and we are going to correct it on Wednesday, and we want to apologize for the inconvenience.
Obakeng Ramabodu, MMC for Environment and Agriculture. Let's look at the bigger picture now, because obviously the availability of public swimming pools, while they aren't necessarily always used for young people to actually learn swimming strokes and possibly become part of the, no pun intended, pool of potential talent for South African swimming. Let's get the perspective of Alan Fritz, President of Swimming South Africa. Mr. Fritz, welcome and thanks very much for your time. I know I'm asking you for a broad overview, but as we hit pool reopening day, what's your sense of the extent to which our metros and other municipalities are actually fulfilling their responsibility to provide the pools that our children need? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to the listeners, and good afternoon to the MMC. I'm very happy to hear, John, that the pool will eventually open. It's really disheartening that what you're talking about is not a new problem, not only in Tshwane where I live, but throughout the country, and it's symptomatic of a bigger problem. And that bigger problem is not, in my book, and I'm not an engineer by no manner of means. It's not the availability of water. It's to train our people to manage these facilities better. If we don't do that, John, we're going to continue to sit with problems of this magnitude. Now, I sit at the pinnacle of an organization called Swimming South Africa. We are the #1 federation producing podium performances for our country, and we can't do that without facilities, unfortunately. And that's why the management of those facilities is fundamental in ensuring that this sport stay alive. I can give you examples, John, throughout the country where facilities are so poorly maintained that they disappear brick by brick. If we don't stop that, the beautiful sport of aquatics and swimming in our country will disappear overnight. We won't be able to produce the stars that we produce at the Olympic, Commonwealth, and World Championships level, and even in continental competitions. And it's an indictment against all of us in our country if we can't look after the amenities that are there and build new amenities. Now, relating to Tshwane, Tshwane is a hub of aquatic activities. I mean, a large part of our elite squad train at the University of Pretoria, for example. The Hillcrest swimming pool is most probably the only swimming pool that we can use for competitions.
Right.
And if it doesn't open, it throws the entire cycle out. We have, John, I know that I'm taking a lot of your time, but I think it's important to emphasize we have some really high level of competitions coming up, and the athletes must prepare. We've got a national swimming short course championship in Pietermaritzburg at the end of this month, and if athletes can't train, their performance are not going to be where we expect them to be. We've got Commonwealth Games coming up next year. We have 18 months from now. People think it's 3 years away. The Olympics is for an athlete in swimming
Yes.
is 18 months away because of preparation time, competition time, time off, and a lot of them are students writing exams and so on. It's incumbent, in fact, if we manage these facilities the way they should be managed, they don't need to close even for winter, because if they are heated, they are well managed. Our sport is a sport that's throughout the year.
Thank you very much. Alan Fritz, President of Swimming South Africa. The swimming pool near you, the public facility, today it was meant to open. Did it? If it did, tell us what it looks like. If it didn't, and you have some insight into why, well, share that with us as well, please. 072 702 1702.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebohile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
I want to know your thoughts, particularly around parents who are frustrated saying, the school says they can't accommodate me. The school says we must find a special school. But then how do you prepare your child for a world where there are no special employers and special this?
A lot of families and a lot of parents do deny the fact that there's something not typical with their child, and they basically hide the fact or they deny the fact, and that leads to so many more issues in life. And you look at individuals around us and I think, wow, if they had have been diagnosed with a condition when they were younger, their entire journey would have been different.
The founder and CEO of BabyYumYum.com, Amanda Rogeli.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebohile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
You believe in your business, so don't choose a bank that doesn't. Choose Lulo, where you'll get direct access to your own business relationship banker. That's real support and VIP service every step of the way. Lulo is South Africa's first business-only banking suite.
Every day, most of us spend an hour planning, prepping, and stressing over what's for dinner. That's around 29,200 hours of your life spent running from grocery store, the kitchen, to the fridge, to the stove. Why not spend that time running for yourself or towards something you love doing, and let You Cook handle dinner, delivered, prepped, and ready to cook? So choose You Cook and take back some me time. Visit youcook.co.za to find out how.
PG Glass Repair, PG Glass Replace.
Hi, I'm Telane, PG Glass Technician. Got a chip on your windscreen? No worries. Our advanced repair technology fixes it with precision. If you don't have insurance, we offer affordable cash deals on high-quality windscreen replacements to keep you safe.
We can also help you claim from your insurance. Plus, you get a lifetime workmanship guarantee. As the natural choice to fix your glass problems, we're the best at what we do. For quality you can trust, call 0860 030303 today.
Whenever you hear deep in the heart and art of jazz, think Sia Makuzeni with the big band, Jasmine Horn, Alun Wad, The Baylor Project, Jose James sings Badu, Umusangare, Esperanza Spalding, Michelle Dugiocello, Elaine, Trezo, Munei, Mondli Ngobo, and many other spectacular icons. Think Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival. 4 stages at the Sandton Convention Center, 26th, 27th, and 28th September. And take me there. Book via Ticketmaster.
They've stood tall, served hard, and dreamed big. Now it's time to honor the best among them. It's Gauteng's greatest awards with 702, powered by Yoko. Tune in on Tuesday, 9 September from 6 a.m. when we reveal the winners and celebrate the excellence that makes Gauteng feel like home. Because every time a business wins, the whole community shines. Gauteng's greatest awards with 702, powered by Yoko. Let Yoko Counter fuel your business to greatness. Go to yoko.com to explore the new point-of-sale solution, saving hundreds of businesses time and money.
This is EWN.
Some relief for motorists at the pumps from Wednesday, and the mother of a slain 6-year-old is left with many questions. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Motorists will enjoy some relief at the pumps from Wednesday with a decrease in the price of all grades of petrol and diesel. A litre of diesel will cost between 56 and 57 cents less, while both grades of petrol drop by 4 cents from Wednesday. Illuminating paraffin will also be 37 cents cheaper, while LP gas goes down by 132 cents per kilogram. Mineral and Petroleum Resources spokesperson Robert Make.
The reasons are as follows: the lower oil prices during the period under review, the rand appreciated slightly on average against the US dollar during the same period, the slate levy remains unchanged at 0 cents per litre in the price structures of petrol and diesel.
We move now to a story which contains some graphic details. The mother of 6-year-old Amantle Samane, who was raped and murdered, says she has been left with more questions after her child's killer was sentenced to life behind bars. 25-year-old Pete Simiao was handed 2 life terms by the Johannesburg High Court today. He was also sentenced to 2 years each for kidnapping and contravening the immigration laws. The 6-year-old's body was found in Simiao's shack in Soweto last year after he had raped and strangled her to death. Khomotso Modise has more.
Judge William Karam has found that even though 25-year-old Mozambican national Pete Simiao pleaded guilty to all the charges against him, shortening what may have been a lengthy trial, he failed to demonstrate true or genuine remorse.
His failure to testify further leaves many unanswered questions inter alia. How did he keep the victim hostage while he went to purchase a beer? How long was she kept hostage before he raped her? How long did the rape endure? How long after the rape did he murder her?
Amantle Samane's mother, Ndomzotwa, says she feels like she's been denied closure.
Yeah, you're not going to see the question mark.
He left me with question marks. I wanted to know why he did this, what pushed him, because no normal person would do this. Even now, I have no closure, even though he has been handed 2 life sentences.
Samane says she hopes the hefty sentence handed to Simiao will be a deterrent to other perpetrators of violence. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News at the Johannesburg High Court.
Despite commitments to reopen Lillian Ngoyi Street to traffic today, the city of Johannesburg says motorists will only be able to use the road from the 12th of September. Mayor Dada Morero says that while the main repair work has been finished, a few touch-ups still need to be completed before the road can safely reopen. The street was severely damaged in July 2023 when an underground gas explosion split it into 2, leaving 1 person dead and several others injured. Al-Faram Shwana reports.
The city of Johannesburg has completed major repairs on Lillian Ngoyi Street, but the road will remain closed to traffic at least until the end of this month. The Metro says the delay is due to ongoing work, including paving sidewalks, removing construction equipment, painting road markings and completing a bus stop shelter. Johannesburg Mayor Dada Morero says 12 more days is all they need to complete everything.
Just minor issues that have to be done. On the 12th, you can come and drive, you can come walk, you can open your businesses. There's a whole lot of things that you'll be able to do.
So far, only 82 million rand has been spent to fix the road. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
To this now, learners from the Alra Park Primary School in Nigel are expected to return to class in phases from the end of this week. Grade 7 learners will head back first, followed by all the lower grades. Pupils had experienced 3 weeks of disruptions due to a protest against the school's aging infrastructure. Education MEC Matome Chilwane visited the school today to meet with Infrastructure Crisis Committee spokespeople to discuss solutions to the problems raised by the community. Jabuli Limbata has more.
The absence of a kitchen and nutrition center for learners, no paving, uncut grass, and no electricity in some classes. These are some of the issues Education MEC Matume Chilwane has promised will be addressed in the short-term goals. Meanwhile, construction of a new school will begin. It's expected to complete in 18 months, and during that time, learners will use mobile classrooms. Education MEC Matume Chilwane.
The mobiles that are currently here, we're going to renovate them. That part will be done as soon as possible, including the issues of dust, which are quite dusty, and kids have asthma. We don't want our kids to suffer. We have come to an agreement on how best to improve and get pavements up and running, but also the electrification of some.
He added that the construction of the new school will also happen in phases. Jabuli Lambata, Eyewitness News, Alra Park Primary School.
And rescue operations are continuing in Afghanistan following an earthquake. Multiple aftershocks flattened homes in the country just after midnight, killing more than 800 people. More than 1.2 million people are said to have felt strong shaking. Afghanistan experiences frequent earthquakes. In October 2023, the Herat province was devastated by a 6.3 magnitude earthquake, which killed more than 1,500 people. Gold is trading at $3,476.61 an ounce. The rand is at 17.59 to the dollar, 23.82 to the pound, 20.60 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $67.48 a barrel.
In the Bryanston area, various traffic lights are not working. This is on Winnie Mandela Drive between the N1 and Sloane Street, and this is unfortunately causing heavy delays on the N1 southbound that's coming from the Bryanston Sunning Hill area heading towards Four Ways. N1 South, heavy delays between the Butlu interchange and Winnie Mandela Drive. Also in Edenvale, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic. R24 westbound, that's traveling towards Bedford View between Edenvale Road and the Kilulis interchange.
In your sport, Sipombule called up to the Bafana squad to replace the injured Patrick Masongwanyi. Luis Suarez at the center of a spitting row as Inter Miami lose League Cup final. And the Proteas gear up for their white ball series against the English.
A fine Tuesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg dropping to overnight lows of 11 degrees, peaking at 30. Vereeniging 10 and 30, and Pretoria 12 and 30 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Motorists will be enjoying some relief at the pumps from Wednesday with a decrease in the price of all grades of petrol and diesel.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
7:02 Drive, it's 9 minutes past 5. Coming up on the show, we're going to be talking in a moment to the assistant coach of the Springbok women's rugby team. They are through to the knockout stages of the World Cup being played in England for the very, very first time in South Africa's history. Not only that, they've got a place in the top 10 in women's rugby for the first time ever with their first victory over a top 10 team, 29-24 over Italy. Lorian Johannes helped our guest shortly as we look back on the game that was and look ahead to the possibilities ahead. Really looking forward to that. We'll also be focusing on one of the stories that's been prominent in the news, the reopening, at least in part, of Lillian Ngoyi Road in Johannesburg. We'll have a conversation with the CEO of the Joburg Roads Agency, Zweli Inyati. That's coming up at about 20 past 5. We've been asking you about handwriting. It is International or World Handwriting Day today. Do you ever write letters? Do you ever get handwritten letters? Or have we all gone so tech that we simply don't need pens at all? Call us with that on 072 702 1702. We've already got some of your thoughts. Let's listen to a couple.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
John, and the team. How are you guys all? Handwriting. When in the good old days, when we were at school, grade 2, grade 3, our English teacher used to give us 2 exercise books, one for capital letter, one for small letter. And my signature, normal signature, is since I was grade 2 until now is the same, because she gave us 50-page exercise book to sign the same signature, whatever we want. with a meaning. So I do have the same signature since I was grade 2. I'm 51. And my capital and my small letter and handwriting is 100% thanks to my English teacher when I was grade 2.
Hi, John. Yes, I write often. Every time I journal in the evenings, when I do some reflection, I know a lot of people use like the notes app on their phone, or they just voice record their thoughts. But I think there's something therapeutic about putting pen to paper. So, yeah, it's very relaxing. It's time away from your screen. So I think a lot of people should actually consider writing more often. Thank you, Courtney, for ways.
Good afternoon, John. The Kempton Park public swimming pool is full of green sludge. It's been boarded up. It's inoperational. There's weeds everywhere. There's vagrants. They've broken the wall down. It's disgusting. Sure. Someone's head should roll for that. It used to be so beautiful.
Yeah. Heads don't roll, consequences are managed. That's generally the approach to a lot of these things. Staying on our story about the fact that the Tshwane swimming pools didn't open today, although there is good news, they should open later in this week. Some of them, and excuse me, more of them a little bit later. This one in regard to the city of Joburg, which we haven't clocked in on. I work seasonally for the city of Joburg. They haven't even hired seasonal workers that would be qualified lifeguards and cashiers who do the bulk of the work. Because of unknown politics, we are sitting at home, not knowing what is going on. 13 minutes past 5. The thing about the 1st of September, it is a date. And in most areas of life, a date is a deadline that it would seem some metros are not going to meet. 13 minutes past 5.
EWN Traffic.
This Eyewitness News traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. It's a bit blue, of a blue Monday in Bryanston.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's due to apparently faulty traffic lights, according to a voice note that we received earlier. John, this is on Winnie Mandela Drive. Between the N1 and Sloane Street, that's in the Bryanston area. This is also causing a padlock. This is delays all the way from the Butlu interchange. That's traveling on the N1 southbound all the way to Winnie Mandela Drive. So allow for extra traveling time if you're heading towards Four Ways Bryanston area this afternoon. Also in the Edenville area, bumper-to-bumper traffic, R24 westbound. This is from Edenville Road to the Gililis interchange, traveling through Alex, heading towards Germiston. Expect about a 30-minute delay on the N3 southbound from the Butlu interchange all the way to Van Buren. Also slow-moving traffic driving through the Joburg CBD, heading towards Boysons. This is on the M1 southbound from Killarney Bends to the Crown interchange. Lenasia, we're still dealing with that accident scene causing heavy delays approaching the intersection of Klipspruit Valley and Nirvana Drive. Also slow-moving traffic still due to roadworks in the Devland area, traveling towards Eldorado Park on the Golden Highway between the N1 and Union Avenue. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
20 years ago today, you were driving to your first job, and 20 years ago, the Outsurance pointsmen were on the roads easing traffic congestion. Whether you're an Outsurance client or not, we've all been getting something out. From Johannesburg, Tshwane, and Paarl to Stellenbosch, show the Outsurance pointsmen some love this month and celebrate this 20th anniversary using #pointsmenlove. Outsurance really means it when they say you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
Joburg Mayor, what an absolute joke. We set ourselves the goal of the 1st of September to reopen the road, but we're only going to open on the 12th of September because there's still work to be done. And we think we achieved the target we set for ourselves. We think, what a bunch of clowns.
These guys are straight out lying to us. Don't forget, there's a local government election coming next year, and that's why we're seeing this happening.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
The world of business is changing fast. Are you ready to lead the change? Wits Business School offers specialist and generalist postgraduate programs that empower professionals to thrive in today's dynamic economy. From digital business to energy leadership and entrepreneurship, your future is one decision away. At Wits Business School, you don't just learn business, you learn how to lead it. Visit wbs.ac.za for more. That's wbs.ac.za.
You give your business everything. So why not give it better business banking? Give it Lula, South Africa's first business-only banking suite. We won't keep you on hold forever and a working day. And it won't take 5 transfers to get you answers. When you choose unlimited business banking, our dedicated relationship bankers are always ready to help. Visit lula.co.za and experience business class banking and funding today. Powered by Access Bank. T's and C's apply.
Mzansi, your backyard just got better. Explore more for less because the Great South African Sale is coming with up to 50% off travel deals. From the breathtaking scenery to a beach picnic, camping in the wild, or the thrill of Gussie vibes. There's something for everyone. Book from 8 to 14 September 2025. Visit shortleft.co.za to book and travel later. After all, it's your country. Enjoy it, because nothing's more fun than a short left. Hashtag TravelWise Mzansi. T's and C's apply.
The Checkers Hyper price drop is here. Save up to 40% on deals like Steakhouse Classic man-sized T-bone steak for 140 Rand per kilo, save 20%. Nescafe Classic Instant Coffee 200 grams, any 2 for 199 Rand, save 91 Rand. And Parmalat Bulk Cheddar or Gouda Cheese 600 grams, any 3 for 249 Rand, save 126 Rand. Deals valid until this Sunday, only at Checkers Hyper.
702 and corporates that care with Ekwele are talking about Ekwele's commitment to uplifting communities across South Africa.
From Ekwele's side, we get a lot of requests for water. I think the access to clean drinking and safe water has become a daily challenge for many people. So we get a lot of requests. We really deliver hundreds and thousands of bottles every year. Recently, we saw a need for a more longer-term solution, more sustainable water solutions. When we turned 25, we delivered 25 water tanks to 25 communities all over South Africa. And it was really heartwarming to see what a difference a tank can make. The first tank we put up was at a school in Groudeville and KwaZulu-Natal, and the principal told us now they don't need to close their school anymore because sometimes they had to close school early because they didn't have water.
Ekwele, making a positive impact one drop at a time. Learn more at ekwele.co.za. 702. Let's walk the talk. You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
There it is. The clock is through the 80. And she's found touch. And that is the final whistle. And look at the celebrations for South Africa. They've beaten Italy for the first time in their history.
So that was what happened in the Yorkshire town of York yesterday at the Women's World Cup in Italy. South Africa is through. South Africa's women Springbok team are through to the knockout phases of Rugby World Cup for the first time ever. How did they do it? Well, we're joined now by assistant coach for Springbok women, Lorien Johannes Haupt, herself a Springbok who played at the 2010 Rugby World Cup. Lorien, good afternoon. Many congratulations. What has changed with South African women rugby? Because it really does seem to be moving up and up and up.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you for having me. The trajectory of the game is so good. We've got some good corporate sponsors on board. SA Rugby supporting us massively, and that has just helped improve our game and improved our whole environment. So everything is running smoothly. It just gives the girls that confidence to just showcase their talents on on a daily basis because they're contracted now.
How have you? Obviously, the organization must be right. The money and the financial circumstances need to be in place. We know that from the experience of our other teams. But presumably, and you and Sway Subera are also doing some interesting and important things.
Yes, no, it's exciting that myself, Swiss, Franzel September, and Bafana, we work really well as a collective. But it's all about the girls and all about what we teaching and guiding them, and they executing on the field. So that makes a coach extremely proud, and we're happy that that is the trajectory of where we're going.
I said Swayze Hubert. I should have said Swayze de Bruin. Of course, a very, very close match. You relied on a winning try in the 74th minute. Must have been quite nerve-wracking watching. But did you go into the game not obviously not overconfident, but with a high level of belief that actually it was going to be your day?
Absolutely. We went into that game extremely positive. We played them twice in the past, 23 and 24, and it was really close encounters. And this time around, I feel that we were way better prepared. Although anything happens at on this world stage, especially at World Cups, never easy to win. But we were confident going into this game, and we wanted to qualify for the quarters.
What has anything changed between you and Swace in the playing style? Because to some degree you match a style to the players you have, but I would imagine the success of a good team is to challenge your first 15 and your squad to do things that maybe they haven't believed they could do before.
For sure, for sure. So Coach Swayze is a very attacking mindseted coach, and we are set piece dominant. And I think just him unlocking that potential in the ladies to expand their horizon to more opportunities, more creativity, that just brings our game full circle. And I think that's one of the most important ingredients Coach Swayze has brought. He's brought some spice along with him.
And just finally, France next, but you've got one eye on the quarterfinal, but not beyond the realms of possibility. You could win that as well, I would think.
Yes, you know, whatever game you play at the World Cup, you definitely don't want to go into a game thinking that you're going to lose the game. So we're really going to put our best foot forward and have a proper crack at it. France is rated number 4 in the world. We are rated number 12. Or now we've went up two places in the rankings, but they're still an extremely good team with an extremely dominant set piece. So no, we're not weary of this, but we're aware of what France can bring us, and we're up for the challenge.
Well, thank you so much. Congratulations again. Please pass on our best to the team, and you really have carried the Springbok badge and the country's flag in a way that's made us all proud. Lorian Johannes Haupt, former Springbok herself, played in the 2010 World Cup, still a teacher at Athlone High School until recently. I'm sure they're very proud at that institution, and the Springbok women are through to the quarterfinals at the World Cup, 5:25.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Right, let's run over now to a story that's been going really for quite a while. The explosion on Lillian and Goy Street, a first attempt to actually fix that, and then issues with contractors who were unable to do what they were hired to do. Now almost ready, but still not quite for traffic to move down Lillian and Goy Street. There is still some work to be completed. Let's get a full picture, and welcome to 702 Drive's Zweli Nyati, CEO of the Joburg Roads Agency. Mr. Nyati, a very good afternoon to you. What still remains to be done, and how long will that take?
Good afternoon, John, and good afternoon to the listeners. Look, it was packaged in two phases. So the most complex one was this, where we had to do the investigations, design, install, and rebuild everything. Phase 2 is slightly bigger with the scope, but it's not the intense thing. So where we are, we're handing over the road that has been completely sealed, but there's still some snags because we have reduced the lane. We're decongesting the city. We're moving away from having 5 lanes in the CBD as if it's a highway to 3, and create more walking paths for cyclists and pedestrians, but also make it more livable. by decongesting it. Secondly, we're also putting state-of-the-art technology on the road. We have traffic signals that have got timers and counters, and we also have surveillance. Underneath, we have gas detectors for gas and other things that might cause explosions in the near future. So we are really converting the whole thing to be modern, but to also use technology to help us to avoid the recurrence of the same situation.
How do you decongest a city, though, by reducing lanes? Because I would have thought that means the traffic moves more slowly, the air pollution increases as a consequence, and so on.
Look, we will be with the transport master plan. That's actually the plan that we are using. One of the issues in the city, you realize when you drive, people are jaywalking as they please, because there's no walking spaces and hawkers and everything. So you find that even the actual lanes end up being used by normal citizens who are not drivers of cars. So you have to swerve around just to drive on a lane in some streets. So we're trying to avoid that and create an environment where people can be able to to operate fully knowing we are in compliance with the law.
Yes.
If it's a pavement, it must be used for the pavement. People must have spaces to walk instead of jaywalking, which is also an offense on its own. So we're
Yes.
trying to reconfigure the city to look like other cities.
And just finally, as I understand, Mr. Nyati, from what I've read, this surface is not tarmac, it is paving stones. Is that for
Yes.
cost? Is it for durability? What's the logic?
There is durability, but easy to maintain as well. If a brick cracks, we put another brick. But also, underneath, it has been designed to drain the water into the stormwater, something that we didn't have. Water has to run on the tarmac, on the bitumen. Once it cracks, then you have potholes and other things. With these ones, you can easily remove and replace. That's why in other cities, you will see them paving the roads. It's easy to maintain, but also we can access infrastructure or repair with ease at a minimum cost than having to dig the road and do reinstatements like we're doing.
Zweli Nyati, CEO of the Joburg Roads Agency. Live on Lily and Goy Street. Maybe you trade there, maybe you work there, maybe you commute or used to commute using that as a point of access. Call us with your thoughts. 072 702 1702. 29 minutes past 5.
EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, a very good afternoon to you. Seemed to be a good start to the week. I don't know if it continued that way.
Yeah, it did end up, John. Did pull back a little bit towards the end of the day. So the JSE All Share ending up just 0.06% at 101,899 points. Financials down 0.62%. Industrials down 1.5%. And then resources, a much stronger gold price, a stronger platinum price too, up 3.57% on the day. Quite a lot of corporate news too. So Harmony's a good example of all of that. Their shares up 6.38% today. Their gold price is up, but they also have now received shareholder approval from the owner of Australia's CSA copper mine, which means they should be able to buy that, they reckon, by the end of October or so, and that, I think, having an impact. But they weren't the only gold miner up today, that's for sure. Bidvest ending the day down 5.9%. So they did say that while their revenue was up 5% for the year to the end of June, their profits were up by just 1%. It's been hit hard by a big decrease in bulk exports for their freight division. They've had issues as well with that stake in Adcock Ingram that's about to be delisted. We'll find out more about that when we speak to the CEO of the company on the Money Show this evening. Truworth's down 3 2/3% after their update last week. A little bit tough for consumer group companies because the Fashini Group is also down 2.27% on the day. But Equipment saying that tariffs are impacting their US market. Their earnings will be down by around 22% for the 6 months to the end of June. And RCL Foods saying that their baking division has really helped them to actually put their headline earnings up by share by nearly 29% in the year to June. We'll find out if it was just me who's been buying all the pies when we speak to their CEO on the Money Show this evening. US markets, I must just point out that Sibanye and Northam are both up by 12%, which tells you how people are are viewing the platinum issue at the moment, John. Clearly seeing lots of demand there. US markets are closed today for the Labor Day public holiday, but there has been quite a lot of action in Asia, where Alibaba, their Hong Kong shares rose 18%, and that's because it said that AI had led to a huge surge in revenue for its cloud business, and obviously people watch AI very closely at the moment. The gold price, $3,476.33 an ounce, is thin trading because of the American holiday, so that may contribute. Platinum, $1,425.30. Brent crude, $68.23. The rand to the dollar, 17.61. To the euro, 20.61. To the British pound, 23.84. On the Money Show tonight, also we'll be looking at the issues around Blue Label Telecom. They've explained a bit more detail on how the Cell C listing is going to work. ArcelorMittal closing down, John, 3,500 direct jobs going. It's a big issue for the industry. And maybe it's just me, but, you know, you see on TV still that old Shaka Zulu series, you know, the one from the 80s.
Yes, with Henry Cele.
Yes, there's so many people younger than you and I who believe that Henry Cele kind of was Shaka Zulu. That's the image they have. And I can understand why, because it was such a powerful evocation. I do have big problems with that series. So tonight on The Money Show, we will speak to the co-executive producer of Shaka Ilembe and see how they're doing in changing that cultural memory. Desiree Markgraf will tell you how she's made her money, her career, on The Money Show this evening. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
Thanks, Stephen. Good stuff ahead on The Money Show. News, good or bad, right now with Mbali Dlamini.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. Gauteng Education MEC Madume Chilwane has committed to rebuilding Alra Park Primary School within 18 months. It comes after community protests over the aging school infrastructure last week. The school has been operating for 85 years and the classrooms are now dilapidated. In 2023, the Education Department brought in mobile classrooms, but there were calls for a more permanent solution. Today, Chilwane met with the school's Infrastructure Crisis Committee and promised to demolish and give the learners a new school.
So these ones have dilapidated very quickly and they've become very dangerous for our children. So the agents of the school have committed a timeline for them that within the next 18 months they should be having their kids in a new school. Because fortunately the school already itself was also part of the roster of new schools. We just had to reorganize the roster to make sure that it gets priority because of the agency.
Civil group Operation Watershed says the national dialogue should also include the more than 1 million South Africans living abroad. Over the next 9 months, a series of dialogues are set to be held across the country in a bid to find solutions to the pressing socio-economic challenges. But Operation Watershed is concerned that citizens living abroad have been left out of the process. Spokesperson Hayley Reichardt says many South Africans living abroad still have ambitions to move back to the country.
This is an opportunity, whether we like how it's come about or not, whether we like who has been roped in to help get this thing going or not, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we can either sit back, point our fingers, moan and complain, and then at the end of the day, when it is a waste of taxpayers' money, go, told you so. Or we can get on board, make some noise.
And Sandparks has welcomed the reopening of hiking trails in the Silvermine Nature Reserve in the Western Cape. That area suffered severe damage after a blaze in April. Parts of Tokai and Silvermine Gate 2 have been open to the public since July. Sandparks spokesperson Charles Patlane says the road at the Silvermine Boom Gate will remain closed to cyclists as rehabilitation efforts continue.
Upper Tokai will also reopen on the 1st of September, including levels 4 and 5. Which were previously closed in July due to the unstable terrain during the rainy season.
In your weather, a fine Tuesday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, lows of between 10 and 12 degrees and highs of 30 degrees across the province.
Well, at this stage in Bryanston, traffic heavily backed up on the N1 southbound between Rivonia Road and Winnie Mandela Drive. Also in Edenville, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic on the R24 westbound. This is between Edenville Road and the Gililis interchange. And also in Alex, heading towards the Germiston area, expect about a 30-minute delay on the N3 southbound from the Butler interchange all the way to Van Buren.
The top story in EWN, Gauteng Education MEC Matome Chelwane has committed to rebuilding Alra Park Primary School within 18 months.
702 afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
I want to know your thoughts, particularly around parents who are frustrated saying, the school says they can't accommodate me. The school says we must find a special school. But then how do you prepare your child for a world where there are no special employers and special this?
A lot of families and a lot of parents do deny the fact that there's something not typical with their child, and they basically hide the fact or they deny the fact, and that leads to so many more issues in life. And you look at individuals around us and I think, wow, if they had have been diagnosed with a condition when they were younger, their entire journey would have been different.
The founder and CEO of babyyumyum.com, Amanda Rogeli.
702 afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk.
The DSTV Delicious Festival, powered by Lotto Star, is back. With just one ticket, experience unforgettable music, mouth-watering food, bold fashion, and vibrant art. From Saturday 20 to Sunday 21 September, celebrate with friends and bring the family for a picnic on Sunday. This year, DSTV celebrates 30 years with international headliners, SA's hottest talent, and a feast that's as big as the vibe. It's Africa's biggest music and food festival. Get your tickets now at Ticketmaster. The DSTV Delicious International Food and Music Festival, powered by Lotto Star and supported by 702. More on deliciousfestival.com.
In a world where everything is instant, some things are worth slowing down for. You took the time to build a life of distinction. Every moment, every milestone, every decision. At Indwe, we take the time to understand your world and craft insurance solutions to protect it. Because true peace of mind is the greatest luxury of all. The right insurance starts with a conversation. It starts with helloindwe.co.za. Indwe Risk Services is an authorized financial services provider.
Ready, jet, go to fully paid. Trips to the Abu Dhabi Motor Racing Spectacular must be won in the thrilling new JetX competition exclusive to Hollywood Bets. An unforgettable experience awaits on one of the fastest circuits on the planet, with the world's top drivers battling for supremacy. To stand a chance to win, bet 10 Rand or more on JetX. 1 million Rand in cash is also up for grabs. Hollywood Bets. Fly higher with our multiplier. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
They've stood tall, served hard, and dreamed big. Now it's time to honor the best among them. It's Gauteng's Greatest Awards with 702, powered by Yoko. Tune in on Tuesday, 9 September from 6 a.m. when we reveal the winners and celebrate the excellence that makes Gauteng feel like home. Because every time a business wins, the whole community shines. Gauteng's Greatest Awards with 702, powered by Yoko. Let Yoko Counter fuel your business to greatness. Go to yoko.com to explore the new point of sale solution, saving hundreds of businesses time and money.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good afternoon, John and the listeners. About the swimming pools, my question is, are those public pools like free, or do you have to pay a certain fee? Because ever since I was a kid, I've never come across any public pool facility. Even as in right now, as an adult, I am not aware of any public pools in this area. Mohammed from Sandton, Johannesburg.
Yeah, look, I don't know about which pools there are in Sandton. Anyone who's got an insight into that, I'd be surprised if the whole of Sandton didn't have a public pool, but maybe I'm wrong. Anyone who has, I'll do some Googling, but I'm not sure I'll hear from you if you either live in this area or make use of a facility like Mohammed is saying doesn't exist. So do give us a call on that on 011 883 0702, 19 minutes to 6.
702.
Call John
on 011
883
0702.
Now, today is World Handwriting Day, and we've been asking you, do you still write? And if you used to perhaps, or, maybe still do, use a handwritten something to express something particular, not easily done by something you type, although I must admit I've come to love voice notes as a way of communicating a real sense, I hope, of myself. I often use that to engage with grandchildren, people who are out of the country and so on. But Leko is from Four Ways, and I believe, Leko, you take writing seriously, so much so that you went on a course. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John. I absolutely love handwriting. I took a calligraphy class beginning of this year, and basically I write letters to my daughters all the time, especially on their birthdays, and I took the class to make them more beautiful. So it's something I find therapeutic and I immensely enjoy.
So there are studies, and there's a kind of more general conversation, Leko, about that somehow when you are handwriting, you're communicating almost on a deeper level. It's slower than typing, but also because there's a physical process involved in the way that perhaps there isn't with texting. Do you have a thought on that? I mean, given how seriously you're taking this?
I agree with it, John, because for me, I think it almost creates a longer sense of connection with my kids, especially because these are letters that they'll cherish well into their adulthood. And, it'll always be such a sentimental reminder of what, my handwriting was and all these key milestones that they need to look out for. I wrote a very long 6-page letter to my daughter on her 16th birthday,
yes,
which she still has to this day, and she goes back to it often for guidance and advice. And I just find that it allows me to pour out completely with honesty, without judgment, and I think I'm my most authentic when I write. And so obviously the calligraphy was just to add a nice, elegant touch to it.
Thank you so much, Liko. Wonderful story. Now, I may have mentioned this particular thinker and writer before, but I must admit I found her work really interesting. Maybe connect with her on YouTube or do some Googling. Otherwise, there is a book that you could read. The author is a woman called Christine Rosen, and I really enjoyed her book. It looks, amongst other things, at handwriting and emotion, but the broader thing she's engaging with is the relationship between the relationships we have with people and technology, and that relationship set includes our relationship with ourselves. She's a very, very interesting thinker, I think. Her book is called The Extinction of Experience, Reclaiming Our Humanity in a Digital World. But if you're not up for a whole book, just Google her, Christine Rosen. Maybe you can pick up a TED Talk or an interview and get a little flavor of what it is that I found so compelling. 702 Drive, 16 to 6.
EWN Sport.
EWN Sport is brought to you by the all-new Hilux Legend 55. For 55 years, the Hilux has been conquering SA's toughest terrains, and now there is a new legend in the family. Latest sports news, World Cup qualifiers. Tola Kele, what's Hugo Bruce saying?
Well, John, he's confirmed that Sipho Mbule has replaced the injured Patrick Masangwanyi, while Thabo Muluisane is in for Imi Okon. That's ahead of Bafana's back-to-back FIFA World Cup qualifiers. South Africa take on Lesotho and Nigeria on Friday and Tuesday, respectively, as they look to edge closer to advancing to next year's tournament.
For more than a year, we looked for a replacement of Temba. We had Tito, but now Tito is also injured, so it was very difficult to find someone with those qualities. And I think with Mbule, we have the right player on the right position. But I have to tell you also that when he comes, he will be on training, I think. That tonight I will have a little chat with him and that I exactly will tell him what we expect from him.
Enter Miami forward Luis Suarez appeared to spit at a member of the Seattle Sounders coaching staff following his side's 3-0 Leagues Cup final defeat. The incident happened shortly after the full-time whistle following a melee involving both sets of players, which was sparked by the Uruguayan. The MLS is yet to comment, but Suarez faces a potential ban of between 1 to 3 matches. But if it's treated as an expulsion-level misconduct, he could be banned for 6 or more games. Switching over to cricket, where the Proteas are in England this month for a 6-game white ball series. The first ODI takes place tomorrow at Headingley, and Captain Themba Bavuma has discussed their aims.
We have conditions that are different to what we're accustomed to at home, and we want to make sure that we can adapt as well as we can to these conditions and play close to our best. Yeah, I think as much as a T20 2027 World Cup is there, but we'd like to bring ourselves back to here and what we need to do to be successful in England.
It's Test week for the Springboks, who face off New Zealand at Eden Park in the Rugby Championship on Saturday. Rassie Erasmus' side returned to the venue for the first time in 12 years, eager to end the All Blacks' 50-game unbeaten run at that stadium. During that streak, they've claimed 4 wins and a draw against South Africa.
We are confident that we can do well, but I guess in New Zealand will be with the pressure that I can see that people put on them currently. We're experiencing very much the same. So I guess it's two teams that have a lot of respect for each other, but then also, internally, I think both teams believe they can win the match.
And Europe captain Luke Donald has selected major winners Shane Lowry and John Rahm amongst his 6 captains pick for the upcoming Ryder Cup. Europe will be looking to defend the trophy in New York later this month, while they're seeking a first victory on US soil since 2012. Tolagile Mganga, Eyewitness News Sport.
It's not just a bucky. It's the new Hilux Legend 55. So it's not just another launch. It's a legacy continued. It's not just an updated exterior, but sleek design with styling bar and roller shutter. It's not just Legend 55 badging. It's a legendary badge of honor. And you're not just a driver, but part of our community, our legacy, our legends. It's not a buggy. It's the new Hilux Legend 55.
EWN Traffic.
Okay, let's find out what's happening out on the roads. Still not too good in Bryanston, I believe.
Yeah, no, I'm afraid faulty traffic lights on Winnie Mandela Drive between the N1 and Sloane Street, causing huge delays heading in and out of the Bryanston Fourways area. That's causing huge delays coming from Sunning Hill. That's the N1 southbound from the Butlu interchange all the way to Winnie Mandela Drive, so allow for extra traveling time if you're heading towards Fourways Bryanston this evening. Also, bumper-to-bumper traffic in the Alex area. That's about a 30-minute delay heading towards Germiston on the N3 southbound between the Butlu interchange and Van Buren. Edenville, also slow-moving traffic. R24 westbound traveling into Bedfordview. This is between Edenville Road and the Gilulis interchange, while if you're traveling through the Joburg CBD coming from Parktown heading towards Boysons, there's heavy delays on the M1 southbound between Killarney Bains and the Crown interchange, and also in the Protea Glen area, or there's bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N12 westbound between the R554 Abu Bakr Drive and the R559. I'll have your next Eyewitness News traffic update just after 6.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
11 minutes to 6. Right, let's do some music. Now, on this day, back a few years back, 13 years ago, Taylor Swift had her very, very first number 1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100. First single from her album Red was called We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together. And if you missed the emphasis of the point she was making in the chorus, the final line of the chorus is we are never, ever, ever, ever. 3 evers, just to emphasize the point made in the title. Getting back together. And in case you missed that, she concludes by singing like ever. So, we're not going to talk about Taylor Swift. We're going to talk about breakup songs. And some breakup songs are about the sadness and the misery and, I can't live without you. A dozen songs I'm sure pop into your mind. But then you get the breakup songs that express a real resolve, like Taylor Swift did in that particular number where you were saying, I'm so over you. And you're gone, but I'm good. So, are there songs like that? Now, it could be in your life because it could be that those are the lyrics of the song and it's pretty straightforward. Or it could be that there is just something about the song that gave you a kind of resolve and a resilience to get over a painful part of your life. So whichever it is, give us a call with that on 072 702 1702 and 011 883 0702. Let's get this going, though, with Refuwe Litsua, who's stepped in, taking time out from the very, very busy business of actually putting the show together in the first place. You have a breakup song that's got a little band of steel down the middle. Share it with us.
John, so the song that I've chosen is Since You've Been Gone by Kelly Clarkson. So I like to analyze music, songs, and sort of think how the artist would think. So she goes through stages of breakups, like the grief, the anger, the resentment. She will gaslight herself. But this is what I'd call an anthem of liberation, where she's like, you know what, I tried my best. You know, I saw the red flags, but I still tried. There's a favorite part where she says, out of sight, out of mind, shut your mouth. I just can't take it again and again and again. She's like, since you've been gone, I've become a better person. So yay to me. I mean, I think it's also a jam. It's a vibe. It's very catchy, and the lyrics are amazing. But you could hear that it's from a place of liberation for me.
Okay, well, let's take a listen then to Kelly Clarkson. This one came out as part of her second studio album 21 years ago, Since You've Been Gone.
Here's the thing, we started out friends. It was cool, but it was all pretend. Yeah, yeah. Since you've been gone, you're dedicated, you took the time. Wasn't long till I called you mine. Yeah, yeah. Since you've been gone, and all you'd ever hear me say is how I picture me with you. That's all you'd ever hear me say. But since you've been gone, I can't breathe for the first time. I'm so moving on, yeah, yeah. Thanks to you, now I get what I want. Since you've been gone, how can I put it? You put me on. I even fell for that stupid love song. Yeah, yeah. Since you've been gone, how come I never hear you say, I just wanna be with you? Guess you never felt that way. But since you've been gone, I can't breathe for the first time.
Since you've been gone, I can breathe for the first time. I'm so moving on. Thanks to you now, I get what I want. Since you've been gone. Interestingly enough, there was a song with a very similar title, a rock song. The band Rainbow did it. This goes back to 1979. And their conclusion, Since You've Been Gone, is very different. Since you've been gone, I'm out of my head, can't take it. Could I be wrong? But since you've been gone, you cast a spell, so break it. So there you go. Two versions of Since You've Been Gone. But Kelly Clarkson is absolutely clear. I do not need you any longer. So let's have your story, please. Let's have your song. A breakup song that gave you a sense of steel and resolve. I'm over you. I'm moving on. Give us those on 072 702 1702.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
The city of Joburg is set to reopen Lilian Goy Street more than 2 years after a massive gas explosion damaged the route. One person died and 48 people were injured when the major corridor, formerly known as Bree Street, split in the middle during peak traffic on the 20th of July in 2023. Since then, businesses and daily commute have been affected, with the metro missing several important deadlines to fix the street. The repair work took 26 months, which is double the initially projected time frame.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.
Corporates That Care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and all citizens to walk the talk for a better South Africa. Catch Corporates That Care this Wednesday, 10 to 9, featuring CIPLA. Their CEO, Paul Miller, will be in conversation with Clement Manyatela. And join us every Wednesday as we highlight the efforts of companies and brands dedicated to building our country. Corporates That Care is a Prime Media Cares initiative with 702 and Prime Media Outdoor. 702, let's walk the talk and make a difference together.
When I say insurance, you say pineapple. Insurance.
Pineapple.
Insurance.
Pineapple.
Insurance.
Pineapple.
Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
When you're uploading massive files, does it really matter what your internet's download speed is? With business class internet, you get a connection that's as fast going up as it is down. Your company deserves business class internet because just reboot the router isn't a business strategy. Find reliability at vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Further together. Vodacom Business.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Said, why don't you go your way and I'll go mine? Live your life and I'll live mine. Maybe you do well and I'll be fine. 'Cause we're better off separated.
This is a song by Asha called Separated. Yeah, beautiful song. It sees we're here and calling from Project Land.
How's it, John? So the song that I've chosen is The New Radicals. You've got the music in you. I think some people are oscillating at such a different pace to your own rhythm that they've got their own music that they are, living up to, and sometimes you need to accept that there are beautiful people out there, but you just are not at the same wavelength. And that song always reminds me of a lost love. Cool.
Couple of others. Lebo, best breakup song in South Africa, Take Your Lover and Keep It by Steve Kekana and Coyote. Diana, my breakup song would be Flowers by Miley Cyrus and Brenda. I Will Survive, she adds 4 exclamation marks, by Gloria Gaynor. Tebeko, you got a song?
John, good day, good afternoon to you and to the listeners.
Yes.
That Ladies' Night says, I don't want to know. I gave you the best years of my life and a woman who stood by you all through the thick and thins. And what did you do? You chose a girl who was born yesterday.
Yo, okay.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. Ladies' Night.
Gladys Night. Thank you, Tebeko from Tswane.
I'm all out of understanding. It's always something with you, and all I've got to say is, gave you the best years of my life, and
What a wonderful voice. Strong sentiments too. That's it from all of us on 702 Drive. Good night.
And now, The Money Show.
with Stephen Grootes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
And DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by Absa CIB.
proud sponsor of the SARA Rail Conference 2025, powering progress, connecting economies. Good evening on your Money Show tonight. A drop in bulk exports hits Bidvest while it prepares to delist Adcock Ingram. Santam prepares to try their luck in London, while RCL sells more pies, bread and other baked goods to increase their profits. Also tonight, ArcelorMittal tells workers it will close down its new